Chapter 166 Dauntless. Chapter 166 Dauntless. Boom. Not for a second did the explosion stop. Huangpu Qingyun had now clashed 200 times with Zhuofan. Adding Fifth Elder's hammer blows, it made for a total of 400, yet Zhuofan had not once lost his cool. No matter how the two attacked, they could not even scratch him with cold laughter. Zhuofan was now looking at them as if they were a bunch of noisy children, hardly of any threat. Suddenly, the azure flame flickered above Zhuofan, slowly dissipated. Zhuofan's brow was locked, finally sporting a serious face. Almost there. Humph, have you swum enough? My turn then. Snorting, the ever-passive Zhuofan just stretched his hand and gripped Huangpu Qingyun's wrist in a vice bam. A simple ordinary fist hit the man squarely in the belly and gave Huangpu Qingyun the feeling as if a mountain bore through. He then whistled through the air like a ragdoll, only to pass through dozens of buildings on his way, and ending under a pile of rubble with one down. Zhuofan looked askance at the ever-swinging Fifth Elder. One wing shifted and flowed along the hammer like a viper and latched onto his shoulder, the other whipped him on the chest. Bam! With a thunderous sound that could only be made by a crumbling mountain, Fifth Elder flew into the air before smacking into the ground, leaving behind a deep hole. When he staggered out of it, he slipped and fell down, spewing blood, 5 ribs broken. Fifth Elder tried to bear through the pain as his brow was marred with cold sweat. He had never suffered this much in his entire life as a body cultivator. Worse, just one thrash was all it took to break his 5 ribs. Huangpu Qingyun fared no better. He got out of the rubble only to hit the dirt, and spat out blood 5 times, with pieces of flesh in the puddle clutching his stomach. He was aware of the heavy wounds his organs suffered. But his shock of Zhuofan's power trumped it. He cultivated the imperial tyrant body art, yet couldn't take even a punch. The azure flame died from his forehead, and Zhuofan eyed the two coldly. He lightly stepped out of the footprints he made and patronized. I gave you not 1, but 2 chances. It's you who are too weak to make use of them. You ought to be convinced of your defeat by now. So it is only proper for me to take your lives. The crowd was in complete shock. With the two of them being second young master of Regent Estate and 5th Elder of Hell Valley, they may be beaten at every turn, but only they had the privilege of killing others whenever and however they wanted. It was not supposed to be not the other way around. It was as if their killer couldn't give a rat's ass about the 7 houses' retaliation. But the crowd doubled back and wondered again, who is this man? Demon Zhuofan, killer of the insidious Yu-Giki. So, why would he care if he messed with Hell Valley again? When one of the 7 noble houses was offended, what difference would it make if he added another? This realization got the audience's expectation to rise. The 7 noble houses had no one to answer to for 1,000 years, until now. This was perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see the 7 noble houses finally being on the receiving end. It was high time they got what they deserved in full. They masked the joy they felt, silently cheering, Grandmaster Zhuo, you're our man. Kill them all. Besides, it had nothing to do with them anyway. It wasn't like enjoying the show was a capital crime. Zhuofan seemed to have heard their hearts, and stepped towards Huangpu Qingyun with killing intent in his eyes. Huangpu Qingyun was downright panicking, finally getting acquainted with the taste of fear for the very first time. He never saw someone as powerful as Zhuofan, nor one to have such a matching imposing flair. Deep down, he began to feel like a meager ant waiting to be squished, sweating like a pig. Huangpu Qingyun fell backward with a mask of fear, and not even trying to put on a token of resistance. Hell Valley's 5th Elder felt just as helpless. This freak Zhuofan surpassed their expectations. He wanted to go and help, but he needed power, which he didn't possess. Also, what was he doing going around helping Regent Estate's second young master when his situation was no better? However, a 7-colored mist flew at the squinting Zhuofan, Rainbow Cloud Palm Yen Song. Of course it is me. Vicious Pill King propped his frail body as he used the signature profound ranked martial art of Pill King Hall. His mouth curved into a grin. Grandmaster Joie, I admit your refining skill is thousands of times better than mine, but your escape is nigh impossible from the poison of my rainbow cloud palm. Yen Song, putting up this front will only speed your death. Why must you throw your life away? Juefan frowned as he shouted at Vicious Pill King, grinning. Vicious Pill King raised his head and sighed, repaying favor with favor. Juefan raised an eyebrow and secretly nodded. Boom. The seven-colored poison mist swallowed Juefan whole. Huangpu Qingyun was grasping straws at this point, happy to find hope in this frail rescuer. Thank you, Elder Yen, but this brat is a freak of nature. Can your rainbow cloud palm handle him? Cough, cough. No, it can only buy time. Using a profound ranked martial art with an already weary and damaged body only aggravated his precarious state, resulting in a vicious coughing fit, followed by spitting blood. Yen Fu could no longer stand still and watch him suffer, but Vicious Pill King gestured to him to stand down. Second young master, the bursting pill has increased his power to profound heaven stage for a short while, but it comes with side effects. As this power isn't his to begin with, once the time is up. Cough. You're saying he'll go back to normal? Huangpu Qingyun's eyes shined, his face ecstatic. He could see the dawn of victory on the horizon. Vicious Pill King smiled. It won't stop there. He forced himself to increase his power, and it will undoubtedly harm his body, no matter how tough he is. Once his boost is sapped, his body will be torn from the inside. His power is waning. He will be nothing more than a lamb to the slaughter. We just need to hang on for a bit and victory will be ours. Huangpu Qingyun found hope rekindled. Fifth Elder was thrilled as well, but how long can he last? Fifth Elder asked nervously, and Huangpu Qingyun looked at Yen Song eagerly snickering. Vicious Pill King's eyes glinted at the rainbow mist. Not long. You may not have noticed, but the azure flame wisped away from his forehead. His time is running short. Huangpu Qingyun reddened with shame. The two were scared shitless, and that made them lose all reason. Vicious Pill King shook his head, fully grasping the seriousness of the situation. Second young master, you can't blame yourselves. This brat is too cunning, seeing through you and having you buy into his fake bravado. He is now under my rainbow cloud palm and is suffering from its poison. He will soon be too weak to put up any resistance. Huangpu Qingyun was immensely grateful. He could finally see the light. Chu Qinqing, however, was frowning in worry. Then a sudden laughter came from within the mist. Ha ha ha, you're indeed praiseworthy, Vicious Pill King. I can't hide the bursting pill's side effect from you. Although, you are wrong about one thing. The time I have to kill the likes of you is aplenty. Humph, Grandmaster Joie, you can't fool me. You had your chance before, but now, under my rainbow cloud palm's poison, your Yuan Qi will be sapped even faster. Oh, you mean these 7 poisons? More laughter spread from the mist. Elder Yen, you may not recall our discussion, but to whom this world belonged to again? My answer is to men and smart people, naturally. Vicious Pill King didn't know where Juefan was going with this. With another laughter, Juefan continued, Mine is different. The world belongs only to the strong. Suddenly, black billowing energy spewed from within the 7-colored mist and swallowed the poison mist whole. And from amidst the black energy, Juefan strutted out like a king, unharmed and untouched. Impossible. Pill King Hall's 1,000-year-long research in the 7 poisons, bug-eyed, Vicious Pill King staggered 2 steps back. All the shocks he experienced today paled to this grinning. Juefan's eyes flashed. Old man, do you get my meaning? I am not saying you should lump me together with those useless broads. What I'm saying is not to take me for a weakling, the same as them. Your poison only works on the weak, with not one damn effect on the strong like me. Vicious Pill King gasped heavier and heavier. Unknown if from shock or anger, but Iris Overseer was so pissed her eyes spat fire. Who is this brat calling weak? Easy now, easy, it's all just an act. Xie Tianyang placated her and smiled. Moreover, His words clarified that you and he have nothing going on. This is for your own good. At least Regent Estate won't come finding faults with you. Yeah, Darling's words are savage, but he's always looking out for us. Not to mention, we are indeed weaker than Darling. Xiao Dandan looked at him like a love-struck puppy. Infatuated the more she gazed upon him, and grew in boldness as well. Peony Overseer pinched her. Damn girl, you're starting to get on my nerves. Chapter 167 Invincible. Chapter 167 Invincible. Zhuofan dominated the battlefield. He was a living paragon, taking dauntless steps towards the three. The murderous glint in his eyes was razor-sharp and got them shaking from the very core. Zhuofan was now the picture of indomitability, willing to slay everything that dared bar his path, including gods. Huangpu Qinyun had lost all will to even resist. Standing there like a terrified chicken, the three never dreamed they'd see the day when they would run into such a dreadful foe. For three great experts, joined together too, sinking so low was an irony in and of itself. Sweating bullets, Vicious Pill King watched Zhuofan with nothing but fear. He very much knew of his foe's weakness, needing but little time to turn all of this around, yet he couldn't stop the sense of powerlessness boring deep in his heart. This was power. He knew how to counter, but lacked the means to do so. The power gap was a bottomless pit. Vicious Pill King wrecked his mind about, and suddenly his eyes flashed with resolve. He took out a bottle toward the other two. Second young master, both of you take a pill. He proceeded to give each of them one. Huangpu Qinyun and Fifth Elder stared at it in shock. Zhuofan's brow also shook. He was more than familiar with it. In fact, it was the same pill he used. Bursting Pill eyes shuddering, Huangpu Qinyun's heavy gaze landed on Vicious Pill King. Elder Yen, this is indeed the only way. Even if we need someone to self-destruct to kill him. Huangpu Qinyun squinted at Fifth Elder. Fifth Elder, I entrust this task to you. Have no worry. I will pay your valley a personal visit and present my utmost gratitude to Valley Lord, in honor of your selfless sacrifice. Regent Estate and Hell Valley will forevermore be allies. When the time to blow is at hand, why the hell aren't you doing it? Fifth Elder was about to rain curses, but Huangpu Qinyun's dead-set eyes cut him deep. Regent Estate is a double-crossing, two-timing pack of pricks. I can bet my life on it that Huangpu Qinyun won't ever take Hell Valley as his ally. Even if he does, what freaking good will that honor do me? Fifth Elder wouldn't stick his head out even for Hell Valley. Huangpu Qinyun saw Fifth Elder still wavering and stared him down while belittling him. This brat is Hell Valley's problem to begin with. It's your duty to finish him. Fifth Elder's face sank, itching to tear. Huangpu Qinyun, a new one. Hell Valley has a score to settle with this demon, but aren't you also aiming to kill him? And now that you find yourself lacking, you wish to throw me to the wolves? Zhuofan shook his head and snickered. When life and death hung in the balance, almost everyone would cling to their only vain chance at life. Why would he sacrifice himself for the sake of others? Everyone looked on with respect and deference towards Regent Estate, but none would ever wash their necks and spill blood for them. Who was that big of a fool anyway? He. No need to shift the blame. You'll both be dropping dead soon enough. Grinning, Zhuofan's fist ebbed with black energy. Huangpu Qinyun and Fifth Elders shuddered and stepped back in horror. Vicious Pill King shook his head and shouted, Second young master, Fifth Elder, this pill isn't meant to kill you. It is to boost your power like it did to the brat. What did you say? The two shouted in unison, watching him flabbergasted. Sighing inside, Vicious Pill King showed a trace of disappointment. These two were great in the 7 houses, but they couldn't hold a candle to a kid's valor. His face hard. He spoke, You are body cultivators. While he is a freak of nature, you are titans. If he could take 5, how could you not even handle one? And since death is certain, why not go for broke? Isn't it better to die on your terms than end up lambs to the slaughter like my weak self? The two trembled and gathered up their courage as they looked at the pill in their hands. Then they swallowed it. Instantly, a gale blew and their yuan qi spiked. Overpowering yuan qi coursed through their veins, eating at their flesh. The pain was excruciating and elicited a roar from them. Both the yuan qi-imbued roar scattered even the rumbling blood bats, while the people around covered their ears in hope of dampening the splitting headache. But this power couldn't be denied. Tearing at their ears and making them all bleed, Zhuofan had to take a few steps back from the raw display of power. Vicious Pill King was pushed back more than 10 feet as well, but his breath was as uneven as before. With how Huangpu Qingyun and Fifth Elder were profound heaven experts to begin with, a 10 times increase in power far outstripped the norm. The increase finally stopped and the two felt the surging yuan qi within their bodies. The power was intoxicating, evident from their excited faces. They could never believe this was their power. Now looking at Zhuofan, they shed all fears and bore down on him with killing intent. Ha ha ha, this outcome is only logical. Taking a bursting pill is nothing when you're a profound heaven stage cultivator. Vicious Pill King laughed in glee. This was his desperate attempt at turning things around, yet never once did he believe it would work. Long Zhou's group felt the two's raw power, far exceeding Zhuofan's, and were filled with concern. Zhuofan's advantage was stripped and, even worse, his time was running out. As time passed, the two may not be able to defeat him, but his yuan qi would run dry and all that awaited him was death. Zhuofan couldn't be more clear on this. In fact, this was his main worry. Tightening his fists, with a burst of power, Zhuofan's wings flickered and stared down the three of them. We all know I don't have time to waste, so I'll just snatch victory with one blow. Humph, couldn't agree more. I will take your head myself. With great power came a great boost in ego to Huangpu Qingyun, releasing all that he was worth. Following dragon's roars, 6 golden dragons swirled around him, the same as when he first attacked Zhuofan. But soon, a 7th dragon was added. Imperial Tyrant Body Art, 7th stage. Not only Vicious Pill King, but even Long Zhou's group gasped. The Imperial Tyrant Body Art was a marvel among body cultivation method. Each stage would transform the user body, toughening and strengthening it in all aspects. With him advancing in such a dire moment, Huangpu Qingyun's power must have grown by no less than 10 times in a blink. The people turned to Zhuofan with worry. Huangpu Qingyun had now become the same level of freak as Zhuofan. He, you little shit. Feast your eyes on Regent Estate's Imperial Tyrant Body Art's true power. Huangpu Qingyun roared and charged. The 7 golden dragons swirled around and made all defense moot. Zhuofan squinted fearlessly. He charged as well, although his display was much weaker at the moment of impact. Zhuofan revealed his trademark smirk. Kid, when it comes to martial arts, your wretched Regent Estate has nothing on me. Zhuofan roared. Wraith Style's first move, Soaring Demonic Dragon. Roar! With a sky-shaking roar, Zhuofan was enveloped in the image of a black dragon as he clashed with Huangpu Qingyun. The 7 golden dragons and the black dragon collided, unleashing a shockwave of epic proportion. The witnesses had to cough blood while the weaker ones were knocked out cold. Even Vicious Pill King was hurled 300 meters into the air. He never would have guessed Zhuofan was hiding so many outstanding abilities. It was no less than Regent Estate's Imperial Tyrant Body Art. If not stronger. When things finally settled, people relaxed. They turned to see smoke billowing and watched dumbstruck. Zhuofan and Huangpu Qingyun changed positions, but Zhuofan was as mighty as ever, with no decrease in his aura, just like a god of war. His eyes flashed with boundless valor. As for Huangpu Qingyun, he was pale and blood pooled at his feet. Looking down, he saw half of his body in pieces. His innards had long turned to dust. How can it be so strong? Huangpu Qingyun's eyes bulged out of his sockets as he peered into the hole in his body. Then, his eyes went dead and collapsed in his own blood. His death was the same as any of Zhuofan's victims, filled with endless remorse. Gasping, the people stared at Zhuofan with dread. Huangpu Qingyun, under the bursting pill, at the peak of his power, was killed in one blow. Vicious Pill King, as well as Long Zhou, watched, Astonished at Zhuofan's new degree of power, making them reassess this youth's level, they thought that in Huangpu Qingyun's newfound power against Zhuofan, a tie was already an extravagant wish. But it went way beyond that, getting killed with only a single blow. Xie Tianyang gasped and lamented, "Now I really need to go practice my sword with Big Brother." Yay! We hit the next Patreon goal. For this week, we will be posting 5 chapters a week cause we reach the goal. Well, if next week is below the goal, we will revert back to 4. Chapter 168, Leaving by Suicide. Chapter 168, Leaving by Suicide. It was just too hard a truth to swallow. Hell Valley's 5th elder still sported a confident smile in his power, just as Huangpu Qingyun before him. But witnessing the latter's miserable ending cut all his bravado short as he reeled back again and again. Oh no, that is no human. Not even a bursting pill is enough to defeat him. I need to escape now. Second young master. Suddenly, 4 cries echoed and 4 figures were next to Huangpu Qingyun and lamenting his fate. Zhuofan raised an eyebrow at the 4. They were Huangpu Qingyun's porters. In the first layer of the profound heaven stage, however, Zhuofan's soul was now in the radiant stage and this time, looked at the 4 with a frown and suspicious eyes. These guys were indeed of profound heaven cultivation, but were weak as hell, even when compared with peak bone tempering experts. No wonder Huangpu Qingyun told them to stand aside. But why are they here anyway? At one point in his thinking, Zhuofan's vision swirled and his body was on the verge of collapse. Damnation, I'm running out of time. Gnashing his teeth, Zhuofan braced himself to keep up appearances and then flee from this place. Staying here longer than necessary would only make it worse for him, as he wouldn't be able to hold on for long and fall unconscious. At that point, his head was up for grabs, but he didn't get the chance as the 4 porters roared and jumped him. "You savage mongrel! You dare kill Regent Estates, second young master, we will kill you!" "Just the 4 of you? Please." Zhuofan snorted, but as the 4 approached, his mind whirled and his power plummeted. Bursting Pill's effect was declining faster and faster, bidding his tongue to clear his head. Zhuofan's wing lashed out and the 3 porters were cut in 2, while the latter was wailing on the ground, having his arm chopped off. Ignoring the lucky fellow, Zhuofan flew away as fast as he could. Vicious Pill King paused for a moment before yelling, "5th elder, stop him now. His fight with second young master used up his yuan qi and can't hold on for long. We have to keep him here at all costs." When 5th elder was ready to slink into obscurity, he whipped his head around and saw the 3 dead and 1 rolling on the ground. His eyes lit up, then laughed out loud. Demon Zhuofan's attacks were ruthless and precise. How could he just harm and not kill? His body can't take it and didn't have the time to finish the last one. 5th elder then shot straight for Zhuofan and swung his mighty hammer. With his vision fading away, Zhuofan swayed in his flight. He watched the incoming hammer. Dazed Chu Qingqing was beside herself with worry, but there was not enough time to help. 5th elder cackled. His eyes lit up with savagery. "Ha ha ha, demon Zhuofan, time to pay for what you did to 7th elder and second young master with your life. You're not nearly worthy enough to take my life." His body's power was sapped, but his eyes never lost their ruthlessness. Bidding his tongue again to sober somewhat, Zhuofan roared and lashed with his wings like a pair of lightning whips. Bam! 5th elder's hands went numb from pain, with the half-a-ton hammer slipping from his grip, flung away by Zhuofan. Yet 5th elder couldn't be happier. "Ha ha ha, wise ass. It is you who fell for it this time. You can't possibly fend me off when you have no wings to protect you and your body is too weak to resist." 5th elder's hand was wrought in a fierce flame and clawed at Zhuofan's chest. High spirit ranked martial art, back-piercing fire claw. With the lightning wings used to fend off the hammer, they were too far off to recall them in time. Zhuofan's chest was wide open, with 5th elder being a body cultivator in the 5th layer of profound heaven stage and using a high spirit ranked martial art. The strike would go straight through him. Not even Zhuofan could keep his life. Then Fifth Elder smirked, while Chu Qingqing was watching below, racked with anxiety and powerless to help. Zhuofan's eyes flashed coldly and said, "I already told you. You're not worthy enough to take my life." Zhuofan roared, Wraith Style's second move, Ghostly Dragon Claw. With another heaven-shaking dragonic roar, the two claws clashed. Something incredible happened. In that instant, Zhuofan ripped Fifth Elder's entire arm clean off. Blood spurted, but Fifth Elder took a long time for the feeling to sink in. He turned to his arm, and then fell from the sky wailing. Only Zhuofan, the Invincible, stood in the sky like a king. The burning arm he was clutching was now soaked in blood. "Humph, no one is worthy of taking yours truly's life." Snorting, Zhuofan once again displayed his power for all to see. He clenched his hand, and Fifth Elder's hand was ripped to pieces. "He's just too strong." They couldn't be further from the truth. Zhuofan's power kept dropping, but even so, he ripped the arm off Fifth Elder despite the latter having been at his peak of power, and having taken the bursting pill. Such power struck the core of everyone. Vicious Pill King had long been reduced to standing there dumbly. Zhuofan's early power was based on the 5 bursting pills, but now that the pill's effect was waning, how was he still invincible? Even Long Jio's eye bulged out. Who was Hell Valley's Fifth Elder? An expert that clashed with Veiled Dragon Pavilion's Third Elder thousands of times to a draw. The shock was palpable, seeing his hand ripped off like it was a child's play. Just how am I going to explain this to Third Brother? This little freak has far surpassed him. How shocked will he be when he finds out? Long Jiu shook his head, turning to Long Kuei and Long Jie. "Maybe you'll be the one to break the news to him." The two had long stopped listening. They never had truly witnessed Zhuofan fight for real, and were now watching dumbstruck at what their peer was capable of. Panting, Zhuofan had used too much of his energy. He snapped a cold glare at the dazed Vicious Pill King and flew off, biting his lip. Vicious Pill King's eyes roamed everywhere, and after some hesitation, he roared, "Zhuofan, don't forget! I'm still around." The 100 rumbling blood bats flew at Zhuofan. Zhuofan's flight faltered and glared back. "Old fool, don't be obstinate. I let you go in respect from one Grand Master Alchemist to another. Don't you come and throw your life away." "Humph, as I was entrusted, I shall reply with the same devotion. Second young master is dead, and only your head will keep me alive. Bluntly speaking, either you die or I die." Vicious Pill King roared as his hand made signs. The 100 rumbling opened their snouts and unleashed rumbling bat waves on Zhuofan. A huge ripple struck Zhuofan, just like a tidal wave. Chu Qingqing was overwhelmed with alarm. This was a soul attack. Zhuofan's tough body was useless against it, and could only resist with the azure flame, and when that happened, he'd be too exhausted to leave. But Zhuofan wasn't fretting. He flicked his eyes to Vicious Pill King and made a hand sign. "Since that is your wish, I shall oblige." Wraith Style's third move, Necro Dragon's Screech. Zhuofan snapped his jaws open and roared. This dragon roar was unlike the rumbling blood bat's wave. It came out of Zhuofan's mouth and appeared as a dragon. It flew in the air and shook the whole world. That's a sound martial art, and a goddamned profound rank at that. Xie Tianyang had never been so overwhelmed with shock in his entire life. He said to Long Jiu, "Didn't he say he comes from a third-rate clan? Just where the hell did he really come from when such an art doesn't even exist in the entire Tianyu Empire, or the 7 houses?" Long Jiu shook his head bitterly. "How am I supposed to know? That is one secret only the brat knows. But there's one absolute truth. He did not come from that third-rate clan." Xie Tianyang nodded slowly. Then, the two sound waves collided. The tidal wave and the dragon fought each other, and the aftermath spread well into the crowd below. The previous shock waves were from Yuan Qi, so the people could resist it. But this time it was a soul attack. They would hit the ground dead if their souls lacked in the least. Chu Qingqing used her soul to resist, and Peony Overseer covered Xiao Dandan behind her. But even they, profound heaven experts, were forced to spew blood. With pain came shock, unable to believe that a sound martial art was unblockable. They weren't even the real targets of the attack, and were already suffering. It was unimaginable how astonishing its power was on the real target. The people began looking at Zhuofan with dread. Vicious Pill King was relying on the 100 rumbling bloodbats, while Zhuofan could do it himself. His hand made another sign as Vicious Pill King did his best to withstand the shockwave, with dark blood leaking from his mouth. Never had he dreamt it possible for Zhuofan to use a sound martial art. He was an abomination. He was able to hold Zhuofan back before, but now. Squinting, Zhuofan saw through the old coot's inability, and roared again. The huge dragon above whipped its tail, and the tidal sound wave was dissolved. It then flew through the 100 rumbling bloodbats, whose eyes went blank as they fell on the ground like hail. Such was irony, cruel and merciless. The powerful bloodbats, prideful in their sound waves, were shot dead by Zhuofan's own sound attack, but the huge dragon didn't stop there, passing through Vicious Pill King as well. His mind went blank, with not even a simple thought coming to him. Then his body plopped to the ground, stiffly. Yen Fu wailed, "Master!" Zhuofan grinned and flew away. When his figure was gone, a mad laughter resounded. The great 7 houses beneath the imperial family are not able to kill one man even with 7 against 1. Their name is undeserved, bringing shame to the entire world, ha ha ha. Chapter 169 Calamitous Casualties. Chapter 169 Calamitous Casualties. Zhuofan was long gone, yet the people still stared dumbly in his direction, and when they managed to gather their wits, all they heard were mournful cries all around. The ground was littered with corpses and thousands of wounded. The aftermath of Zhuofan and Huangpu Qingyun's fierce clash, the last sound wave, in particular, must have caused over 1,000 to fall. Hell Valley's 5th elder weakly got to his feet, watching dazed. His missing arm bellowed to the sky, "Zhuofan." These 2 simple words were mixed with hatred and rage that any other survivor had after this bitter battle. Yep, after this bout Zhuofan's name would be heard clearer and further than ever, but never in a good light. He was one of the very few notorious figures known in Tianyu since its foundation. Demons paled to what he had become now towards the bodies strung about, to the endless suffering ramming their ears. People had only horror in their core. But at the same time, 2 words were deeply etched in their minds: Demon Archon. Chu Qingqing's group finally came to as well, only to look on with pity at the miserable state surrounding them and sent people to count in the dead. Xiao Yu was soon back with a tally, and a visage painted in sorrow. Edifice Lord, in the aftermath of the battle, 4862 are dead and 36,019 people are wounded. This count is mainly the heavily wounded, while the light wounded are too many to count. So many! Iris Overseer cried and said inside, "Is Zhuofan the harbinger of death? He killed so many in just one strike." Long Jiu's group was startled as well. They were aware of how insanely powerful the brat was, but not once they thought him capable of this. It was no different than the aftermath of a skirmish, and Xiao Yu faltered, but still said it, because of 100 Pill meeting, many delegates of important clans have come. The number of casualties is disastrous, with more than 2,000 clans having lost their people, and 10,000 more in critical condition. Chu Qingqing's heart tightened and was agitated. "Xiao Yu, try to calm them down. Tell them Drifting Flowers Edifice will give them an answer for this disaster. That we will also offer some compensation for their losses." "Yes." Xiao Yu left with a nod. Xie Tianyang took a deep breath. "Damn, killing more than 4,000 at once. This brat is racking up enemies to an all-time high." "Humph, how is it Darling's fault? With how many died in the aftermath, they should be taking up with Regent estate for the damages." Not once did Xiao Dandan see Zhua in a bad light and wasn't one to tolerate anyone who spoke ill of him as well. Xie Tianyang had to admit Xiao Dandan's words with a nod, but then he jeered. Oh, Miss Dandin speaks true. Although who has the nerve to complain to the 7 noble houses? Not to mention, Regent Estate is also a victim, with 4 dead and a cripple. Humph, since they don't dare to take it up with Regent Estate, they think Darling is one to be pushed around? Xiao Dandan stuck out her chin in pride. Yeah, with that freak's power, even a profound heaven expert would give him a wide berth. However, raising an eyebrow, Xie Tianyang chuckled. Didn't you listen to Vicious Pill King? The kid's time is almost up, and he'll be unable to move then. Even a 3-year-old could do him in. That startled them. If not for his reminder, they'd have forgotten Zhuofan might be lying somewhere. Weak and alone, everyone, scour the place for Demon Zhuofan. I want him alive. He will have Regent Estate to answer to. Chu Qingcheng ordered. The only way to pull the wool over the other's eyes was to treat him like an enemy. Xiao Dandan bore her stare into Xie Tianyang with hatred. Why didn't you say so earlier? Would it have mattered? Those with half a brain are already searching for him. Xie Tianyang pointed around them with a smile. Tell me, who is missing here? Long Jiu's group was puzzled. Only Xiao Dandan clapped. It's the Dong siblings. Then, she took off in Zhuofan's direction. Silly girl, why so anxious? Peony Overseer shouted. How can I not be? That Dong lass has a thing for Darling. I can't let her get ahead of me. The other had to laugh at that. Xiao Dandan was one innocent and chipper young lady. Peony Overseer's face flushed. You nitwit disciple, you're enough of a disappointment as it is. I get that you're all googly-eyed over him, but can you at least not make a fool out of me too? On another note, Zhuofan was rushing to fly away while also keeping an eye out for a nice corner of the world to hide and lick his wound. All while his sight was growing ever hazy. Suddenly, his vision went dark and passed out. His body then crash-landed into a small valley with a bang. He touched the ground and got buried in a pile of rocks. Moon took the sun's place in the sky, then soon, the sun rose back to its rightful place. For 3 days, Zhuofan laid there among the rocks, defenseless. This was a blessing in disguise, as the wild animals would have dispensed with his body by now if he was out in the open rustle. On the dawn of the 4th day, morning dew trickled from the rocks and on Zhuofan's face. Rousing him from slumber, Zhuofan opened his eyes and felt his whole body aching so much he couldn't even budge. His original plan was to take the route and flee. He'd then divide and conquer his pursuers, Huangpu Qingyun's group of 4. As they got further apart from each other going after him, Bursting Pill was saved as his last resort. He had been trying to get away many times, but was foiled at every turn and even got surrounded. With no choice in the matter, he ended fighting the 4 of them together instead of making a break for it, but the toll for this was hardly worth it. Sensing his body, he was sure he was stuck here, disabled, for a month before he could even lift a finger. During this period, he'd be as helpless as a lamb, at the mercy of any strong guy that chanced upon him. Putting his life in fate's hands wasn't the demonic emperor's style, but no amount of lamenting would get him out of it. He was a piece of meat ready to have its life pounded out of him. Suddenly, slow steps were heard coming and Zhuofan tensed. But he was too hurt to even sweep the area with his soul to check. He was in the dark about the person's cultivation, and panic was slowly setting in. Suppose it was the enemy's profound heaven expert. That would curb his short life even shorter. Crack. Sounds of stones clashing resounded and Zhuofan knew the newcomer was digging through the pile. Boom. Then, the final layer was removed and a piercing sun ray graced his face, and making him unable to see his rescuer. Then he heard a familiar voice. Brother, I found him. Dong Xiaowan. Frowning, Zhuofan sighed. If it's the Dong guys, I'm saved, hee. Step aside, Xiaowan, I'll get him out. Rocks crumbled to pieces as a powerful hand reached into the pile and pulled the buried Zhuofan out into the light of day with a boom. His dirty body was wrested out of the darkness by Dong Tianba and smacked the ground hard. Juefan felt something was oddly off here before Juefan even saw their faces. What greeted him was the cold glinting steel of a third-grade spiritual sword resting on his neck. Juefan's heart was floored. "What did I ever do to you?" Dong Xiaowan cried. "Brother, what are you doing? Stay out of this!" Dong Tianba stared Juefan down, the sword shaking in his hand. "Demon Juefan, I've been waiting to meet you for a long time. You're just as they say, so cunning you made complete fools out of us." Juefan smiled. "Here I am, Demon Juefan. I never planned to fool you, but you never left me alone. You dare talk back?" Dong Tianba's anger spiked. "I'm asking you, where's my dear brother Song Yu? Why did you take his face in coming to Drifting Flower City?" Juefan finally got to know what this was all about and grinned wickedly. "I'm sure you realize the truth by now. You killed him." Dong Tianba's hand trembled and his eyes reddened. "Of course. Why?" Grinning, Juefan's eyes were cold and his tone flat. "I am a demon. Since when did I need a reason to kill someone?" Juefan's remorseless eyes in killing Song Yu got Dong Tianba trembling from anger. Roaring, his sword advanced. "No, brother." Dong Xiaowan threw herself before Juefan and said nervously, "Brother, he helped us. We would have died if it weren't for him, and so would our clan. You're not only picking on the weak, but you're also biting the hands that feeds you." Dong Tianba's sword stopped. His hands trembled, a reflection of his chaotic heart. "Who dares harm my darling?" A sudden shout echoed. A flash of red pushed Dong Xiaowan back, and stood before Juefan. "Xiao Dandan, of course, Dong Tianba. You got some nerve. You dare mess with my man?" Chapter 170 A 3 Layers Jump. Chapter 170 A 3 Layers Jump. Xiao Dandan scared Dong Tianba, jumping 2 steps back, causing his sword to tremble like a leaf. He wasn't afraid of her, but the drifting flowers edifice behind her move. Juefan's cold tone came. Xiao Dandan jerked, and turned her head in doubt, only to meet a pair of frosty eyes. "Darling, this ungrateful punk wants to hurt you. Are you deaf?" Juefan's roar got Xiao Dandan shaking in her boots, and demurely moved aside. Juefan was immobile, but that didn't curb his dominating attitude in the least. He spoke to Dong Tianba calmly. "I won't lie to you. I not only killed your good little brother, Song Yu, but his sister as well. If you plan on taking revenge, no one's stopping you." Dong Tianba was hesitating and flitted a glance at Xiao Dandan. She had her glaring eyes riveted to him, as if to say, "Just try it." Juefan understood his reluctance. "This is between us men. Women have no place here. Listen here, Xiao Dandan, if you mess with the Dong clan because of this, then don't ever call me darling again." Xiao Dandan flared. "Then you'll accept me?" Juefan just stared at Dong Tianba with unnerving calm. The sword lifted at times and fell in others. Dong Tianba saw Juefan's eyes shift from hatred to gratitude. Recalling the time when they were drinking like best buds, Dong Tianba threw the sword away with a sigh. "Forget it. I'll just take it as brothers. Song Yu's luck was the worst to meet a demon archon like you." "Why aren't you attacking? Is it because of Xiao Dandan? Kill her, then kill me. You two need to just keep a tight lid on this, and no, even Drifting Flowers Edifice will find out about this. If you're still worried, I can teach you how to make a scapegoat out of another clan. 100% success guaranteed." Juefan smiled wickedly. His words got all 3 of them jumping. Did the world have someone so kind to teach his killer not to get found out? Xiao Dandan was morose and muttered, "Darling, I'm trying to help you. So why do you want me killed as well?" Turning a blind eye to this love-struck puppy, Juefan stared at Dong Tianba with a vague smile. Dong Tianba was vexed. "Wanner is right. You saved us before, and killing you will bite the hands that feed us. It's best if today ends with both our debts being settled." "You're saying you're letting me go for saving you?" Juefan smiled, nodding. Dong Tianba sighed. "What a pity. I just can't take revenge for my dear brother Song Yu." Whoosh! Dong Tianba was cut short by a golden streak passing his ear. With a boom, a 50-meter tall rock was pulverized. The golden light returned to Zhuofan and grinned wickedly. The three found it to be a golden infant. It was indeed Zhuofan's bone-tempering stage blood infant. With a sneer, Zhuofan's tone was cold. Dong Tianba, you are far from worthy to decide my fate. My life is my own no matter the circumstances. Suppose your sword got a bit too close, well, you wouldn't be standing right now. Breaking out in a cold sweat, Dong Tianba looked at the grinning blood infant, then at the sinister smile on Zhuofan. The two caused his heart to beat a mile a minute. Demon Zhuofan was the one who killed Yu Giki. Not someone a nobody like him could handle. Zhuofan needed but a blow, and this second-rate young master would be naught but dust. It made a mockery of his earlier display of settling their score. Even, I never had the right to choose the fate of someone who challenged the 7 noble houses. Xiao Dandan's eyes were more intoxicated than ever. Her darling was so hurt, he couldn't move, but the flair around him, the boldness, made him a man among men. The best of the best were still there. Dong Xiaowan wasn't that far gone as Xiao Dandan, but among the fear and trepidation her eyes conveyed, they nonetheless held a constant ripple and firm gaze on him. Not bored enough to mind the eyes of his fans, Zhuofan closed his eyes. Take me somewhere safe. I need a fortnight at the least to recover. Okay, darling, I'll carry you. Xiao Dandan jumped at the chance, holding no reservations. Zhuofan's silence was all the approval she needed. Suddenly, Zhuofan's ears peeled, and he opened his eyes. Wait. Someone's coming. The others looked around for any signs while Zhuofan got Blood Infant back in his body. Blood Infant was good with scaring bone-tempering cultivators, but he might not succeed in a sneak attack against a profound heaven expert. Least of all going from the front. Only when he paired up with Blood Infant in battles was he invincible, but now he was a dead weight and Blood Infant's success rate fell sharply. He hid Blood Infant in his body, waiting for the right moment to strike a killing blow. The bushes ruffled under the anxious gaze of everyone. Then, an old man came out. Zhuofan knew who it was. Luizhen couldn't be happier. He found Zhuofan. Song, Grandmaster Zhua, I finally found you. I'm so glad you're all right. Zhuofan looked at the others clueless. Was I ever so close with this oldie? What got you so concerned about my health? Zhuofan was baffled, seeing Luizhen jumping to examine Zhuofan's state. Zhuofan and the rest found no ill will hidden among his actions and let him through. Luizhen was frowning a moment later, gushing with worry. Grandmaster Zhua's meridians are damaged. You'll need 3 to 5 months to recover. Luckily I have the 6th grade pill, Yang Recovery Pill. It may not be enough to bring about a total recovery, but enough to allow Grandmaster Zhua to at least move. Yang Recovery Pill. Zhuofan was overjoyed. He knew of this pill since he was an alchemist. With it and the Bodhi Jade sap, he'd be up and about in no time. Flat before the 100-pill meeting, he had no 6th grade ingredients and couldn't refine a Yang Recovery Pill, or he'd have done it ages ago. Luizhen's arrival was such timely help. Luizhen saw him in glee, and was even overjoyed. His hand flashed with a bottle, and presented a scarlet pill. Xiao Dandan hovered it near Zhuofan for a close inspection, then let him have it when it was deemed safe. In an instant, Zhuofan began glowing a blinding light from his main acupoints as the warmth traveled through his meridians. It was so strong that even the others around him could feel it. It started with a twitch of his finger as Zhuofan slowly got the feeling in his arm, testing its range of movements. Luizhen shouted in glee, "In less than an hour, Grandmaster Zhua will be able to walk." Zhuofan wasn't one to wait as he used his only able arm to swallow a drop of Bodhi Jade sap. Luizhen slapped his head. "How could I forget? Grandmaster Zhua still has that divine treasure. You won't even need an hour now and you'll make a full recovery." This shocked the rest. Zhuofan sat cross-legged and focused on recovery. The medicine flowed throughout his body, and Zhuofan could feel how his meridians recover. It went so well that they not only recovered, but became stronger. Bang! With a sudden popping sound, Zhuofan's ears twitched as a newfound power roamed unhinged through him. Dong Tianba cried. He broke through. His words were followed by another pop and Zhuofan's power doubled, as he even started to glow and wave. It was as if diamond sand was roaming through his body. He broke through again. Lu Yizhen blinked his aged eyes and yelped, "This is incredible! Breaking through twice in one breath. How many in this world would ever have such luck?" Then it happened again right in the middle of his speech. "What?" Lu Yizhen's voice trembled. "Doing it 3 times in a row is unheard of. Grandmaster Zhuo's title of freak is justly deserved. Even I had to cultivate day after day, year after year, to advance, but never once have I done it so fast." Everyone around him, who heard his speech, rolled their eyes. "How can you even compare yourself? He is a freak, a genius among geniuses. How can an old coot, who's not even a genius to begin with, even dream of climbing to his level?" Lu Yizhen realized his blunder and straightened his beard awkwardly. An hour later, Zhuofan's power withdrew within him and opened his eyes with a flash of azure. Every minute movement within a kilometer around him in the valley appeared in his mind, down to the last cricket. This was Radiant Stage's discerning field. When Zhuofan just entered the Radiant Stage with his soul, he exhausted his Yuan Qi from using that dangerous pill, thus preventing him from carefully sensing the changes the new stage brought. Now, he broke 3 layers and entered the 5th layer of the bone-tempering stage in one smooth motion. His growth wasn't limited to that of the body, but of the soul as well, while also stabilizing it. Just like Fang Qiubai, who had eyes everywhere within a kilometer of him, Zhuofan could as well. All that was left was to practice killing with his mere intent. That was a Radiant Stage expert's most dreadful ability. Chapter 171 Antidote. Chapter 171 Antidote. Congratulations, Grandmaster Zhuo, for your recovery and improvement. Lu Yizhen gave a gesture of respect along with a smile. Zhuofan shot him a glance. Skip the small talk and say what you want. Lu Yizhen's face froze for a second, then bloomed into a broad smile. Grandmaster Zhuo is a man of true talent. I will no longer hide it from you. Humph, that's all thanks to knowing there is no one in this world helping a stranger without getting something in return. There's no free lunch in this world. You must be after something big to give away a 6th-grade pill. Zhuofan's piercing gaze saw right through him. Lu Yizhen muttered something under his breath, then threw himself at Zhuofan's feet, kowtowing 3 times. Disciple Lu Yizhen admires Grandmaster Zhuo's endless talent. I beseech Grandmaster to accept me. Dumbstruck, not even in Zhuofan's wildest dreams did he consider the old guy's request being this. Scowling for a second, he said, "Give me an empty jade slip." Lu Yizhen's eyes sparkled and handed it over with glee. "Yes, master." Not even he expected his request to go through so smoothly. However, Zhuofan closed his eyes for a brief moment, then gave the jade slip back. "Grandmaster Lu, this jade slip contains 3 alchemy secret skills. My debt to you. We are now even. Don't mention apprenticeship again. I do not take disciples. Why the hell would I take another when the first and last one almost got me killed? Humph, teaching a disciple starves the master. This saying couldn't be more right. I will abide by it all my life." Zhuofan sighed, recalling that traitorous disciple of his. Lu Yizhen wanted to plead his case, but Zhuofan cut him off with a wave. Zhuofan then turned to Xiao Dandan, throwing her a pitch-black ring. Xiao Dandan was startled. Wasn't it the same storage ring Chu Qingqing gave her? "Take this back to Edifice Lord Chu. Tell her that I have paid the favor for the medicine. She and I are now even." What about me? Xiao Dandan was panicking, her heart in turmoil. Zhuofan perked an eyebrow and watched her funny. "It has nothing to do with me. Do whatever." He took a single step and shot high into the sky, disappearing in a flash. Lu Yizhen watched the jade slip downcast, then sighed as he put it in his ring. Xiao Dandan looked at the sky and cried, Wah, darling doesn't want me. Dong Xiaowan saw the heartbroken Xiao Dandan and lowered her head in desolation. At least Zhuo Fan explained himself to Xiao Dandan, while not sparing her so much as a glance. Am I of no value in his heart? Dong Tianba saw through his sister's distress and patted her shoulder. Wanner, that guy is bound to cause great chaos. There's nothing in common between him and us. Dong Xiaowan nodded, her heart clear. How could a girl from a second-rate clan deserve a hero who fought back the 7 houses? But that didn't mean she could accept it. She looked up at the wailing Xiao Dandan and felt envious he did spare this lady a glance at the least. In the hazy night, among the broken-down houses of the slum, Chu Qingqing's lovely figure struck a touching image. Standing there in the moonlight she had behind her Iris Overseer and Long Jio's group, while Drifting Flowers Edifice's disciples scoured the place for any sign of Zhuo Fan. Edifice Lord Chu, it's been 4 days already. Are you sure he'd return here? Xie Tianyang shook off a yawn. Chu Qingqing was still as she watched Zhuo Fan's fleeing direction, but her eyes flickered with resolve. This is where we live together. I know he will come here once he is safe. Sigh, that only means you don't know him. That brat is a ruthless and stone-cold killer. When he was docile to you in that idyllic period, it was just him playing his role as Song Yu. That wasn't the real him. Xie Tianyang sighed. Chu Qingqing smiled, but her mind was set. I believe in the feelings from that time. He will not abandon me. We can only hope. Xie Tianyang sighed, not believing in the slightest. Tap tap. Suddenly, a horse's trotting was heard and everyone looked to see a worn-out carriage drawing near. Chu Qingqing's eyes shined, her heart in bliss. She recognized this carriage. It was Song Zhuo Fan's. He's back. Chu Qingqing cried, rushing over with the others in tow. But the people to come out were just Dong Tianba, Dong Xiaowan, and the crying Xiao Dandan. Chu Qingqing realized they were the only one in see and asked, "You came back without finding him?" Dong Xiaowan and Xiao Dandan were downhearted and in no mood to speak. Dong Tianba bowed. Edifice Lord Chu, we did find him, but he left once he recovered. We didn't follow. What, he left? Chu Qingqing exclaimed in shock before he could finish. This man left without so much as giving her an explanation? Why? Wah, Sister Qingqing, darling doesn't want us. Xiao Dandan could no longer hold in the pain and let it out in the form of rivers of tears. Chu Qingqing was stunned as Peony Overseer drew her dear disciple into a hug. Dandan, tell me, did he do anything to you? Sniffing twice, Xiao Dandan gave the black ring to Chu Qingqing and said between tears, Sister Qingqing. He said he repaid the favor for the medicine. From now on there is no relation between us. What, does he have no conscience? Is he that heartless? Peony Overseer went into a rage. I told you, men aren't good for anything. Chu Qingqing was lost as she took the items from the ring. It was the spirit tablet Chu Qingqing gave to Zhuo Fan before going to her death. Now, Zhuo Fan returned it as if he didn't recognize her as his wife. There was also a box, and Chu Qingqing looked within with a dead gaze. Aunt Tao snatched it and sighed. At least he has the conscience to leave this behind. But Chu Qingqing couldn't make herself care about anything, not even the return of the Bodhi root. All she ever felt was loss except for returning the bottle of Bodhi jade sap. Everything else was back. His meaning loud and clear. From now on they were strangers. You mean he was using me the whole time? Chu Qingqing swayed as she whispered. Yet the look on her face spoke volumes of her denial. I finally found a man that I love, only to be deceived in the end. Xie Tianyang had long seen it coming and coughed. Edifice Lord Chu, let me just say something, but don't get angry. The brat told us he came to Drifting Flowers City for the Bodhi jade sap. But because of the sudden involvement of the Regent estate, he helped you in passing. And that only after judging that the benefits outweighed the risk. His actions aren't driven by kindness or compassion, so please don't feel sad. Shivering, Chu Qingqing frowned. Still no willing to believe what's in front of her, Iris Overseer couldn't take it anymore and patted Chu Qingqing's shoulder. She knew Chu Qingqing was kind on the outside, but quite proud inside. No man ever managed to get her attention, but this time, she finally found a man after her own heart, only to be cast away without a shred of remorse. The bitter pain was a far deeper wound than that of flesh. Peony Overseer had to say something as well. How dare this punk break our edifice lord's heart? The next time I see him, I will peel his skin. Can you? Snorting, Xie Tianyang mocked from the side, startled. Peony Overseer wet her dry lips as she recalled Zhuofan's freaky power, and a cold shiver crawled down her spine. I take it back. I'll just curse him in my head. The others didn't know how to react. What's this? Tao Danyang took out a vial from the ring. Qingqing, did you give him this as well? Shaking her head, Chu Qingqing's eyes were hazy. I didn't give him these pills. Squinting, Tao Danyang's eyes shined. It must be his gift. She opened it and a thick medicinal aroma wafted about, along with the faint roars of dragons. Aren't these the perfect 8th grade pills refined in the Pill King finals? Why did he give them up? Tao Danyang started counting. 1, 2, 16, 17. Weren't they 18? Tao Danyang's eyes wandered in thought when suddenly threw a pill to Iris Overseer as she yelled, "Eat it!" Caught off guard, Qin Kaiqing was puzzled but did what she said suddenly. An azure glow came from within her. Qin Kaiqing then sat to absorb the pill with eyes closed. 15 minutes later, a muffled boom was heard and Qin Kaiqing's power shot up under the shock of everyone there. Iris Overseer broke through. Only after a full 30 minutes did Qin Kaiqing open her clear eyes in joy. Aunt Tao, not only I advanced but the rainbow cloud palm left behind by vicious Pill King is gone. What? They all turned with hope at the vial. The poison of Pill King Hall was infamous throughout the land, yet this group here seemed to hold the only cure. What was even more astonishing was that they as many as 17 antidotes to the rainbow cloud palm's poison. Such news would unleash a bitter fight over them among clans, with even Pill King Hall participating. The difference was, while the clans would come to get them, the Pill King Hall would do its all to destroy them. Chapter 172 Forceful Invitation. Chapter 172 Forceful Invitation. He is indeed an unheard-of genius. I toiled for years over the pill recipe, but this kid up and understood it. I am completely in awe. Tao Danyang laughed, sighed, then sank into depression. Zhuofan's godly alchemy skill left her feeling inferior in her meager achievements. It was a far greater blow than Vicious Pill King could ever give her. After all, Vicious Pill King was the best in Tianyu, and yet, she could still follow his track. While Zhuofan, he had risen to unseen heights, to the point she couldn't even catch a shadow. Chu Qingqing and the rest were over the moon. Is that true? Of course. With the 17 pills the kid gave us, it is enough to get Drifting Flower's edifice out of this crisis. Tao Danyang laughed. Chu Qingqing blinked, still finding it hard to believe this was real. Aunt Tao, you mean to say he unraveled the mystery of that antidote? That pill recipe is real? Yes, it is undoubtedly real. Vicious Pill King may have denied it, but to make the antidote to Rainbow Cloud Palm, one had to at least have a recipe. Or you wouldn't know where to even begin. Tao Danyang sighed again. But that kid is amazing, not only understanding the pill recipe but also following it in refining. The pill recipe was just a 7th grade, yet he made perfect 8th grade pills. With this, even grandmother's recovery is assured. What, grandmother? Long Jiu's group cried. She's still alive. With a vague smile, Tao Danyang shook her head, just a breath away from death. But she will soon be back. Everyone felt uplifted by the news. Zhuofan's act was of huge consequence. Drifting Flower's edifice's grandmother was the Lady of Steel. Furthermore, he not only wrested Drifting Flower's edifice out of Pill King Hall's control, he even saved grandmother. From now on, Drifting Flower's edifice's only way was up. Regent estate would not find it so easy to handle this house as before. He is the savior of Drifting Flowers' edifice. Long Jiu sighed, his admiration for Zhuofan going up a notch. To think this was his plan all along. How else could Drifting Flowers' edifice resist their wretched ally, Regent estate? Drifting Flowers' edifice will soon return to being a national power. If Long Jiu understood this, then so did Chu Qingqing and the others. Sharing a look, Chu Qingqing and the others had a newfound respect for Zhuofan. Even Peony Overseer, who endlessly cursed at Zhuofan, felt a little ashamed regardless of what was said, regardless of how focused Zhuofan was on his own directive. One thing was certain. He was the herald of Drifting Flowers' edifice's new dawn. This alone made him Drifting Flowers' edifice's greatest contributor. It's no longer him owing me, but me being indebted to him. Our bond still remains. Chu Qingqing smiled with a crafty look. They were eager to get back to Drifting Flowers' edifice, remove the poison from their sisters, and boost the morale of their troops. Out of everyone's notice, when the moon fell from its peak, a winged figure watched them from a treetop. He sighed and vanished into the night. In another place, on the wide street, Yen Fu was shedding bitter tears going westward on a carriage. He was returning to Pill King Hall with the body of his master, Vicious Pill King. No one would have ever believed this trip to Drifting Flowers City would rob the Grand Vicious Pill King of his life. Wiping his nose, Yen Fu recalled his master's smile. His care for his disciple, and his grief only grew. His cloudy eyes once again began shedding tears of sorrow. No, I cannot cry. I will have vindication. Wiping his tears, Yen Fu's eyes steeled. Zhuofan, one day I will kill you and lay Master's soul to rest. Who? A sudden gale blew, followed by thunder. Yen Fu's heart seized and turned to look back. He saw a man with wings of lightning charging for him. Zizi Zhuofan. In a blink, Yen Fu's towering thirst for revenge was wiped clean. The panic was so palpable from his face that he was on the verge of tears. Dude, I was saying one day. Not now. Why are you here? I'm not ready. Could you at least give me at least 7 or 8 decades? But why would ever Zhuofan care? He always followed through with what he put his mind to. Whoosh. Zhuofan's arrival was swift like lightning. With lack of a better choice, Yen Fu jumped off the carriage. He then hopped on his feet with a serious face. Since I can't avoid him, come. I am not afraid of you, even if I die. But Zhuofan couldn't care less of him. Boom. With a crack of thunder, Zhuofan went through the carriage, which blew into smoldering ash. As Zhuofan's figure was made clear from the wreckage, he was holding someone. Yen Fu cursed in panic. Zhuofan, you bastard. What do you think you're doing to my master? Came to whip a corpse, ha ha ha. The air echoed with Zhuofan's mockery. Yen Fu shook, but all he could do was cry, Master, forgive me. Disciple is useless. I can't even defend your body. I am unfilial. I cannot stop that demon from humiliating you. Zhuofan looked back at him with a smile. Although the kid was a cunning twerp, not great in the least, he was loyal. Though after flying for half an hour, Zhuofan landed in a groove and threw Vicious Pill King's corpse on the ground. Watching the aged and peaceful man, Zhuofan put a pill in Vicious Pill King's mouth, then brought out his gourd. Opening it, a blood-red cute worm wiggled from within. Hee, finally going to put you to good use. Zhuofan snickered and placed the bloodworm in Vicious Pill King's mouth. He put away the gourd and started going through gestures as he shouted, Ha! In a blink, a visible ripple came from Vicious Pill King. Shuddering, Vicious Pill King started moving and got up. His mind in a panic, his hazy eyes looked around. Where am I? Ha ha ha, Elder Yen, we can finally have a nice and quiet chat. Zhuofan made a point to give the kindest and most heartwarming smile he could, but all he managed to do was send Yen Song into a shivering fit. He staggered backward, to get some to a safe distance from him. Such a reaction was as instinctive as when a bunny met face to face with a tiger. If only the others were here to see this, they'd be slack-jawed. the grand and magnificent Vicious Pill King, the best alchemist in the Empire, who treaded the continent with such haughtiness, was actually a scaredy-cat. But any who had dealings with Juefan would find this totally understandable. The fear that was Demon Archon Juefan was not something mortals could fathom. Didn't you just killed me? How on, staring long at Juefan, Vicious Pill King recalled what happened 4 days ago. But to him, it was as if it was just a moment ago. Chuckling, Juefan said, "My actions are always ethical. Those that I want to kill, they stay dead. As for the others, they won't die if I'm around. I made sure the sound attack was weakened before it hit you, dislodging your soul from your body for a while. It's akin to feigning death. A mere soul-restoring pill would wake you up easily." Roaming his eyes in thought, Vicious Pill King found it to be true, but still asked with no little suspicion, "Why did you let me live instead of killing me?" "Ha ha ha, didn't I tell you? I respect you as being the first Grandmaster of your generation. It'd be such a pity to kill you, and I find that using you is a much better alternative." Juefan's eyes shined and his grin widened. Scared out of his wits, Vicious Pill King now knew Juefan's intention and mocked him. "Ha ha ha, you think you can recruit me just 'cause you want to? I am the best alchemist in Pill King Hall, so why would I fall from grace and become your errand boy? Nice prideful. I just love your attitude. At least this way you'll get to make plenty of pills." Juefan condescended, adding a thumbs up for good measure. "Sigh, guess I can't force you." Startled, Vicious Pill King was puzzled. "I refused, yet he's not one bit angry? He gave up too easily. This is not how the usual demon act." "Juefan, you won't try to persuade me. What would be the point? I said all I had to say already." "It's fine as long as you understand." Juefan smiled like a good chap, but then his hand made a sign in a blink. A bloody mark appeared on Vicious Pill King's forehead, causing his blood to boil. He felt his head exploding, that it was slowly cracking itself open. Vicious Pill King held his head and rolled on the ground from the torture. Blood seeped from his mouth, ears, nose, and eyes. "Juefan, what the hell did you do to me?" Vicious Pill King's eyes bulged out, ready to explode. In all his years, he had never endured such excruciating pain. Even the poisons he made paled in comparison to the torture this suffering brought about. He just couldn't figure out what Juefan had done to him. Giggling, Juefan showed him a red worm. "Elder Yen, to be completely honest, I was afraid you might not be so inclined to go along with my request. So, I gave you this little pet while you were unconscious. It can make your blood to surge and expand, ending up with a bloody bang." Horrified, Vicious Pill King didn't think Juefan was capable of having such vile acts. He knew he had no escape and clung to his only hope as he yelled, "Juefan, you're going back on your own words. Didn't you say you won't force me?" "Yeah, I won't ever force you. It is wholly up to your own free will if you want to come with. But if you refuse, that takes us back to when we were enemies. It is only right that I rid the world of my enemies, no?" Juefan's cold face stared him down. Vicious Pill King's mouth fell, and felt like crying. It was clear like ink on paper. Juefan wanted to force him into submission, but the prick had the gall to preach him of free will, even if it made perfect sense. "Then end me, spare me of this suffering." TCH, I can't help you there. It's my decision on how I destroy my enemies. In your long-lived life, sir, how many enemies have you seen teaching their killer how to kill them? Juefan blinked with a wide and naive smile, though it only helped to horrify Vicious Pill King further. Demon Juefan earned his name. He is entirely insidious and cruel. Chapter 173 Pill House Elder. Chapter 173 Pill House Elder. Ah! Vicious Pill King's screams reached the clouds, evoking the same torment a soul would feel when being fed upon by the horde of wraiths in the underworld. The good news was this was in the wild, so no human would be scared to death by hearing his cries at night. Juefan sat leisurely on a big rock, staring at him pitilessly. Suddenly, Vicious Pill King had had enough. He gnashed his teeth and gathered his yuan qi to blow himself up. Of course, such an obvious move didn't escape Xuefan's sharp eyes. He made a gesture and all his work came undone as the energy seeped into nothing. Ha ha ha, I almost forgot to tell you. Once the bloodworm enters you, you are under my complete control. Think of suicide? You need to have my permission first. Xuefan mocked. Vicious Pill King's heart was filled with shock. Where did this demon Archon Xuefan come from? Why was he so evil? If I had this thing, I would not need to waste time with Rainbow Cloud Palm. Instead, I could have outright controlled Drifting Flowers Edifice. The irony here was that instead of him getting to use it, Xuefan used it on him, the glorious Vicious Pill King. All Vicious Pill King could do was make his torment known through endless shrieks and wails. His eyes bulged and blood crammed into his skull, on the verge of popping. And that was exactly what was hoping to happen. Being at the edge of exploding, he couldn't even move as the torture only grew and grew. He just couldn't believe such hell existed. And Xuefan's gaze made his fear all the more. The malice this kid shows had never been seen in this world, and probably won't appear either long after he is gone. Kill me. Vicious Pill King was as stubborn as ever, although his eyes did contain a hint of pleading. Xuefan passed him a glance and placed an hourglass on the ground. Elder Yen, I don't have time to waste on you. If you want to die, all you have to do is wait for the hourglass to end. It's not much, just around 24 hours. A what? Vicious Pill King was on the verge of tears. Wasn't the same as saying to let him be driven mad by pain for a whole day? He didn't want to wait even a minute. Please kill me. I beg you, sir. Vicious Pill King wailed inside, but not minding his plight, Xuefan ruffled the dust off himself and left. Wait, where are you going? Vicious Pill King cried. The chance to make Xuefan deliver him into the sweet embrace of death would be higher if he was watching. But if Xuefan left, he'd be all alone in his suffering for a full day. Imagining that horror got him shivering. Never had he imagined this day would come, to hope for death, to be so miserable. He was now longing for it, growing ever impatient to get it. Snorting, Xuefan disdained, my time is too precious to waste it on you to kick the bucket. But I respect you too much, as the best alchemist of your generation, to walk this path all by your lonesome self. So, I'll just fetch your prized pupil to show you the way to the underworld. He will make good company. I believe he will jump in joy since such a filial disciple can be together with his cherished master. Ha ha ha. What? Panicking, Vicious Pill King's eyes took an ominous glint. Xuefan, if you touch one hair on his head, I vow to haunt you in the afterlife. Cocking an eyebrow, Xuefan turned to look at him with a beaming smile. Oh dear, threatening me, are we? Well, go ahead then. Xuefan flew away. Wait. Vicious Pill King's anxious cries were met with silence. Then, his face sank as he said, Grandmaster Xue, young Master Xue, I concede. I am not your match. I will do anything you want, just let my disciple go. Xuefan's laughter echoed into the sky. He smirked triumphantly without turning around. He casually responded. When I stole your body, I had the impression that we might become allies. So, I didn't harm your disciple, for your sake. But now, since we're enemies, it's best to snuff any danger out. Vicious Pill King had gone silent. Xuefan's meaning was crystal clear. Either he surrendered and both disciple and master would be his buddies, ensuring their safety. Or stay enemies and be rooted out. He didn't want his sole disciple to be harmed, but Pill King Hall was his house. How could he betray it? Vicious Pill King was plagued with indecision. Picking up on his conundrum, Xuefan grinned. Elder Yen, do you have any friends, lovers, or any cherished people in the Pill King Hall? Why do you want to know that? Vicious Pill King frowned. Shrugging, Xuefan chuckled. Not much. Since we'll be pals, it's best to know who they are, so I'll go easy on them if I ever meet them. Juefan spoke in such a heartfelt and touching tone that had Vicious Pill King nod sigh, no need for such compassion. Our great house doesn't only fight with outsiders but also among ourselves. Especially when I became the first alchemist and earned my title, the fighting only intensified. I've given all my life to my house. I am not close to even the elders, only to my disciple. I hope Grandmaster Zhuo will spare him. Vicious Pill King's tone was mournful, yet sincere. Juefan nodded. Does that mean Elder Yen concedes? I cannot. Pill King Hall is my home. What home? A place filled with coldness, a place undeserving of you is worthy of being called home? Juefan cut him off before he could finish. The way I see it, Pill King Hall is nothing more than a bank, loaning and collecting money. It should be proud of itself to raise a great alchemist such as yourself. But, think about it. All those years you wasted on it, is time you will never get back. You stand on the edge of a knife. Dwell on this reluctance of yours to leave it. Is Pill King Hall truly worthy to be called your home? Vicious Pill King was shocked to the core. Juefan also calmed down the bloodworm and let him think it through. Juefan wanted Vicious Pill King to surrender wholly, not be forced into submission. He would be better off without him otherwise. Who knew when he'd be sold out one day because of him? Besides, didn't you betray Pill King Hall? Juefan prodded Vicious Pill King, seeing him hesitating. What happened with Chu Qingtian and the pill recipe? And don't you dare tell me he was a spy. Who would believe a normal disciple could steal the pill recipe? Isn't it more along the lines that you gave it to him? Startled, Vicious Pill King watched Juefan shocked. How did you know? Juefan sighed. Because you're too similar to the Chu Qingtian. You are both fond of alchemy. Which alchemy master wouldn't like a disciple who loves alchemy as well as he does? Although you mocked Chu Qingtian whenever he is mentioned, you have not once denounced his talent. In fact, you even find him pitiful. Vicious Pill King sat dazed on the ground, powerless to move as he droned. As soon as the child arrived at the door, I knew of his origin. At the beginning, I have to admit, I held no good intentions towards him. Furthermore, I am usually haughty and shameless, doing whatever I liked. But his talent had me surprised, and I could no longer bear to hold such intentions towards him anymore. So, I let him steal the pill recipe. Allowed him the opportunity to learn it on his own. If he could understand it then, he would have surpassed me. Such a pity, Vicious Pill King sighed with sorrow. That was the only time I failed Pill King Hall. Humph, only by making you admit your betrayal, will you embrace it. Besides, any loyalist that had betrayed once will definitely do it again. Juefan shed some light. Elder Yen loves his disciples, and no harm was done even if the pill recipe was leaked, since no one could unravel it. Furthermore, you're dead and no one will look into this betrayal of yours. What, dead? Correct. Everyone saw how I killed you. I killed you then and saved you now, without the eyes of the public. In other words, your life is mine, it no longer has anything to do with Pill King Hall. The words struck close to home. Vicious Pill King still held on to Pill King Hall not because he cared for it, but being the place where he grew up. But Juefan said he died once, breaking all ties with Pill King Hall. Now it was time to think about the future and leave the past behind, and sure enough, Vicious Pill King's eyes changed, hesitation growing stronger in him. Juefan thought it was about time to drive the last nail. You now have a choice. To return to being Pill King Hall's Vicious Pill King, and enemies to me along with your disciple so that I may kill you again. Or accept my proposal, and become Wingay City's Luo clan's Pill House's elder, be reborn and shake the world. Vicious Pill King's eyes flashed and laughed. Grandmaster Zhuo's words are sweet. So, I've already died once. In that case, I am willing to follow the great Grandmaster Zhuo into shaking Tianyu. Vicious Pill King looked more majestic than ever as he cupped his hands. Excellent. Nodding, Juefan flicked an azure pill to him. Vicious Pill King cried in shock. Isn't this one of the perfect 8th grade pills grandmasters were refined? Why are you? To remove your poison. Zhuofan spoke in a heavy tone. I already saw through that pill recipe and improved upon it. This perfect 8th grade pill is made based on its instructions. It stated that to make the antidote, I first must make the poison. I used the 7 poisonous ingredients and then 7 more detoxifying ingredients to create this. Following that pill recipe, it was impossible to refine a true antidote. Also, the initial part of mixing those 7 poisonous ingredients was what ended up poisoning Tao Danyang and the others. Vicious Pill King felt even more admiration. Grandmaster Zhuo is without a doubt the best alchemist. You even understood the 1,000-year-old pill recipe of Pill King Hall with one look? Ha ha ha, you don't need to exaggerate. It took me 5 days. Zhuofan waved his praise in modesty. But Vicious Pill King's cheeks twitched. That's still fast. If the hall leader knew, he might end up crying. Chapter 174 Luo Clan's Calamity. Chapter 174 Luo Clan's Calamity. Vicious Pill King no longer hesitated and swallowed the pill in one gulp. He realized on the spot that Zhuofan saw through the flaw of the pill recipe, since he could make the antidote. The Rainbow Cloud Palm was made of 7 incredible poisons that only Pill King Hall could remove. But even that wasn't a real antidote, just diminishing the poison within the body so that it would no longer be deadly. Yet as time passed, that little bit of poison would constantly harm the body. Anyone who used this palm was never long for this world. But to make their house look mighty, they chose to use it anyway. This skill was a double-edged sword to the point that his hair turned green as well as his eyes. For this reason, they had planned to get their hands on the Bodhi Jade sap for centuries. Not for evil intentions, or swallowing Drifting Flower's edifice, but to use Bodhi Jade sap and dispel the poison. As to Regent estate entering the fray, that happened later. And Zhuofan, the eminent alchemist of his generation, not only understood the pill recipe, but even refined the antidote to its perfect form. 8th grade. Since Vicious Pill King, a grandmaster of his generation, knew how great this pill was, he took it without a shred of doubt. The pill roared in his belly like a dragon, turning into an azure dragon power that scoured every corner of his being as if alive. It rooted out every scrap of poison, yet was mild on his meridians while also increasing his yuan qi. He was moved and immensely intrigued by this perfect 8th grade pill. Standing at the side, Zhuofan saw him shining in an azure glow, and the green from his originally black hair was retreating, the wrinkles smoothed over as well, giving him a fresh and youthful air. Vicious Pill King flashed his black eyes open, free of any trace of poison. Laughing, Vicious Pill King stood up. His manner grew more dignified as his power advanced a layer. He went from the 5th to the 6th layer of Profound Heaven stage. By the looks of him now, he ought to be in his 40s and not the aged geezer from before. Sizing him up, Zhuofan chuckled. Elder Yen, you truly have been reborn. Even your acquaintances may not recognize you. It is all thanks to Grandmaster Zhou's pill. I was filled with poison after practicing that art for far too long. Grandmaster Zhou is truly the best in the empire. Vicious Pill King cupped his hands in admiration. Returning his gesture, Zhuofan smiled. We are all on the same side now. So, there is no need to call me Grandmaster. You are an elder of the Luo clan while I am but a mere steward. From now on, you can call me Steward Zhuo. A Luo clan? Vicious Pill King's tone was odd. I heard that you came from a third-rate clan, but no one said anything about a Luo clan. Then again, thinking of Steward Zhuo's incredible talent, the Luo clan must be a hidden dragon, ready to rear its head and tower over all. It may not be as renowned as the 7 houses, but its might is that of a crownless king. Maybe later. Zhuofan chuckled awkwardly. The Luo clan had only one Profound Heaven expert who only broke through 2 damn years ago. At best, it'd be considered a second-rate clan. But with this old guy joining the fold, They'd make a good first-rate clan, but Zhuofan's appetite was far from being quenched. He wanted to raise the Luo clan above the other 7 houses in 10 years, to be the best clan in Tianyu. However, it was not a ripe time. They were far too weak. So what? Can't we steal what we miss? Didn't I do the same with this profound heaven elder here? Humph, if there's a first, there's bound to be a second. All in all, there was no one who could stop the demonic emperor from fulfilling his cunning plans. With a flash of insidiousness hidden in his eyes, Zhuofan spoke heavily. Elder Yen, I promise you that the Luo clan is the best in Tianyu, second to none. Gasping Vicious Pill King was shocked. Not even Regent Estate had the gall to proclaim that. But the air about Zhuofan made him realize this was not a joke. It made a believer out of him as well. With a genius like Zhuofan around, any clan could become the best. He was so moved thinking that joining such a powerful clan would raise him to even greater heights, but how could he had known Zhuofan's words only applied to the future? Even so, he was simply thrilled. Grandesh, no, Steward Zhuo, when will we be returning to the clan? Vicious Pill King was quite eager. He was dying to see this hidden and powerful clan, although seeing it might be a tad bit of a letdown. Zhuofan tied inside, but didn't let it show and waved him off. What's the rush? We'll get there eventually. I still have a task to fulfill, so you'll be coming with me. Slightly let down, Vicious Pill King nodded nonetheless. For such a freak, a hidden gem, a first-class troublemaker, one who slapped the 7 houses like they were children, him staying in the Luo clan will forever be the clan's greatest fortune. Such confidence he has. That means the Luo clan must be a behemoth to stand above the 7 houses. Just how many ages have they laid in waiting, beyond the prying eyes of the 7 houses and the imperial family? They must be strong for Steward Zhuo to be with them. As a new elder, I have to apply myself and not drag it behind. Vicious Pill King was having wonderful flights of fancy regarding this behemoth. What escaped his notion, however, was that the great Luo clan wasn't hidden to conceal its strength, but so downright weak no one paid it any attention. Zhuofan knew what he was thinking, yet did nothing to bring his feet back to earth. He cared too much for the old man's heart. People always aimed higher and higher. The old guy may be listening to him since a little worm worked its magic, but Zhuofan still needed him to still be in an illusion. After all, Zhuofan needed to keep his motivation high. By the way, Steward Zhuo, aren't you afraid some ill might befall the clan after the ruckus you made in the Drifting Flower City? It was just a sudden thought, and soon he was shaking his head in self-mockery. How can such a clan be afraid of anything? Zhuofan didn't much care either. Afraid of what? The 7 houses are banned from Windgaze City. And the other clans are trifles. Oh, I see. The Emperor issued the order just to protect our Luo clan. Vicious Pill King exclaimed, looking ever eager to see it, for even the Emperor to watch over it. This clan must be a paradise. It must be at least as strong as the 7 houses, since the Emperor ordered for the 7 houses to stay clear of this city. The more he thought, the more excited he was. This turncoat business might have been the best thing that ever happened to him. He cracked up, ha ha ha, then I can rest easy. Even if Regent Estate comes knocking, they'll only suffer. I would really like to see their looks now. Staggering, Zhuofan woodenly turned his head with a frown. You're saying Regent Estate can still go in? It dares violate the Emperor's edict? Steward Zhuo, it seems our Luo clan had been hiding for too long and doesn't know everything. Vicious Pill King chuckled. Over the past millennium, the imperial family had given many orders to the 7 houses, but do you know why it never had a conflict with them despite them never obeying? Zhuofan's eyes roamed in thinking, then suddenly focused. They were probing the imperial family's tolerance. Vicious Pill King laughed. Ha ha ha, Steward Zhuo is indeed wise beyond his age. Indeed, the 7 houses were testing the imperial family. And these acts only increased over the last century. What was the imperial family's reaction then? Zhuofan was anxious, weak, always the first to back down. Vicious Pill King squinted. The current emperor has to be the worst this empire has ever seen. The houses may respect him, but none fear him. And you even killed Regent Estate's second young master at Drifting Flowers edifice. The Regent Estate will surely use this excuse to step out of line and see the impact it has on the imperial family. Let's go. Zhuofan was troubled and cut Vicious Pill King off as he flew straight for Wingay's city. Vicious Pill King was startled. Steward Zhua, where are we going? Home. This spells trouble. What trouble? With the power invested in the Luo clan, not even the imperial family dares enter its domain, least of all an outsider. The Regent Estate is bound to suffer a great deal of pain. What damn power! If I'm not there, there won't even be corpses left. Shouting, Zhuofan sped away now. He regretted blowing the situation out of proportions back in the city. He didn't know the delicate relation between the imperial family and the seven houses, that they'd enter a cold war. They may be cordial in the open, but conflicts still arose among them if this kept up. Wingay's city might be the fuse that would blow this charade sky high if the Regent Estate wasn't going to attack the Luo clan directly, but the imperial family. His clan would end up sacrificed by the imperial family to de-escalate the conflict. The more he thought, the faster he flew. Zhuofan thought the imperial family's power was unquestionable, but it actually declined to such a degree Vicious Pill King might be clueless but still dragged behind Zhuofan as they sped toward the Luo clan. Chapter 175 Shaking the Nation. Chapter 175 Shaking the Nation. A month later, in the imperial capital in a garden of mesmerizing beauty and singing birds, the emperor sat across from a wizened old man under a pavilion. At a closer look, it was easy to recognize him as being Mr. Sima. A stone table laid between them, with a chessboard filled with black and white pieces. Mr. Sima was playing the black pieces. The emperor held a white piece, still unclear as to the best place to put it. When he finally placed it, he chuckled sadly. Mr. Sima's skill is exquisite. I fall sorely short. But could you at least give me some leeway as an emperor? You won 10 matches already. Ha ha ha, your majesty is too modest. Mr. Sima chuckled. I am only able to grasp this square-foot area, while your majesty plays with the whole nation in mind. How could my meager skill ever compare? Your majesty may have lost 10 chess matches but has resolved the land's issues. It is I who has fallen dreadfully short. Ha ha ha, Mr. Sima mustn't joke. In this land, it is unknown who shall be the true winner. But your majesty has everything set in place and is only waiting for the final piece, correct? Mr. Sima let a meaningful chuckle as he placed a black piece on the board. The emperor's face twitched a second as they exchanged glances. Then they burst out laughing. I'm imperial father. A thundering cry came from behind, shaking with it the ground in its wake. The emperor waved the maids to clean the board. Damn, that brat is back again. Ha ha ha, your majesty need not fret. I have come prepared. Mr. Sima waved for the maids to leave as he smiled at the board. I brought a black iron board this time, so the third prince won't get to disturb the match. The emperor smiled. Mr. Sima is thoughtful. A familiar figure rolled into their sight. The fatty was jumping over and quaking the ground with every step. The emperor turned to the heavy-waiting Yuan Tsong and lamented. What did this kid eat to grow even fatter in these 3 months? Bang! Yuan Tsong ran for all he was worth at the emperor, soaked in sweat and filled with panic. Watching the ball growing ever bigger, the 2 servant girls were feeling fear for their lives that the fatty would slip and barrel straight for them. Tsong, slow down. The emperor pointed at him impatiently, but the warning fell onto Yuan Tsong's deaf ears as he strained to understand. What did you say, imperial father? His eyes, finally catching on to who the emperor's guest was, had robbed him of the attention of what was in front. A mischievous rock found itself in his path, and the fatty was now falling to the ground like a ton of bricks. He found it odd, as the ground only grew nearer, inertia working against him and turning him into a veritable living ball of flesh rolling on its merry way straight for the Emperor. The Emperor stood in shock and stepped back. Mr. Seema was too out of it. The third prince is a man of extraordinary talent. Who else can have such a precise shape? Bam! In his sighing, Yuan-Tsung found himself shooting right before him, taking out the stone table by happenstance as well. The black iron chessboard was also thrown to the ground and the game scattered everywhere, his face twitching. Mr. Seema stood agape at the ball of flesh, itching to curse him. The ball was aiming for the match all along, but who'd have thought to lift the chess in that dire moment? And he even promised the chess match would be untouched. It was not only touched, but the board was entirely thrown off. Mr. Seema, are you all right? Yuan-Tsung rubbed his poor spine as he crawled on his stubby legs. Mr. Seema's eyes twitched and took a deep breath. Third prince, few and far in between had managed to shame me. You should be proud to be one of them. Yuan-Tsung was at a loss, blinking his bean-sized puppy eyes cluelessly. Suddenly, a bellow came from behind him. Tsung-er, how many times have I told you that a prince must remain calm and upright? What got you so frantic that you had to lose all decorum? With uncanny agility, Yuan-Tsung kneeled and cried, Imperial Father, this time it's huge, Titanic. Humph, what Titanic? Are you going to say the sky is falling? With an angry snort, the Emperor flicked his sleeve at the servants to rearrange the table and bring tea. He took back his seat and shouted coldly at Yuan-Tsung. Over the past century, the Tianyu Empire had been in harmony, filled with peace and prosperity. The biggest event was only 50 years ago, when Xuanrong had crossed the borders. The second is the death of Yu Giki 2 months ago. What could be more grave than these two? Yuan-Tsung peeked at the Emperor as he mumbled, Imperial Father, this matter is indeed grave. At least far more than the situation 2 months ago. The Emperor was about to pour tea when his face turned grave. Who was it this time? Mary Woods' sixth elder, Lin Zetian. Yuan-Tsung was kneeling as he reported, face twitching. The Emperor took a deep breath and took his teacup. Lin Zetian. He can be said to be someone of importance, but not up to the likes of Yu Giki. Well, he's dead now. Oh, and who killed him? Luo clan's steward, Zhuo Fan. What? Him again? The Emperor perked an eyebrow. This kid only knows how to stir trouble. First was Hell Valley and now Mary Woods. Humph. He just doesn't know his limits and probably will be ending up dead in a ditch somewhere. Who knows by what lucky turn of events that he managed to kill Yu Giki, and now he thinks he's a big shot around here. But Your Majesty, he is the pillar of the Luo clan. Anything he does will come back to bite the Luo clan. While your secret pearl order. I know. The Emperor waved him off with a smile. He turned to see Mr. Seema's eyes flickering, as if already knowing what he was planning. I assume Mr. Seema is fond of talent and would like to outstretch a helping hand, perhaps? Ha. Helping him means helping the Luo clan, which in turn helps Your Majesty. Fine, if Mr. Seema wants to help him, then go ahead. I believe the Mary Woods would consider Mr. Seema's presence and will no restraint. The Emperor smiled. Yuan-Tsung looked up at the two, then blurted, Mr. Seema, I will have to trouble you to go to Hell Valley. Why would I? Mr. Seema asked. Just killing Yu Giki got the Hell Valley to bear a deep-seated hatred for Zhuo Fan. Going was pointless. With a sneaky smile, Yuan-Tsung replied, because the kid also robbed Hell Valley's fifth elder of his arm. The Hell Valley is a powder keg ready to explode. Perhaps your face is great enough to fizzle it out. What? The Emperor and Mr. Seema replied at the same time. While Mr. Seema went slack-jawed, you're saying the kid took Hell Valley's fifth elder's hand? How is that possible? Mr. Seema blinked the shock away. That fifth elder is a powerful body cultivator, just as Veiled Dragon Pavilion's third elder. He is known as the Diamondback Ape, for crushing a whole mountain. And you mean to tell me this renowned expert got his arm ruined by an unknown kid? Who is unknown? At this point, the entire Tianyu heard of this demon archon, Zhuofan. He caused a sensation at the 100-pill meeting, fighting 1 against 7, yet standing invincible, while the 7 noble houses turned into a laughing stock, with 3 dead and 1 crippled. Yuan Tsong mocked this came as an even greater shock to the emperor and Mr. Sima. 3 died and 1 crippled. Lin Zetian died and 5th elder was crippled. Then who are the other 2? The emperor was getting nervous. Who? Vicious Pill King Yen Song. Yuan Tsong spoke with caution. SSS. The 2 gasped in shock. A dead Lin Zetian was no biggie, but Vicious Pill King was more well known even compared to Yugiki, and was stronger, far stronger. With Vicious Pill King dead as well, the Pill King Hall wouldn't rest until either they or Zhuofan lay dead. Damn this brat. Is he looking to stir up heaven itself? He thinks that since the Luo clan is under our protection, he can just go wherever and kill whoever? The emperor was imperially pissed. Mr. Sima straightened his beard and sighed. Guess kicking up a storm is also a talent of sorts. Who knew the insignificant Luo clan could bring up such a savage? Ha ha ha, quite amusing. Mr. Sima, don't just go being fond of that kind of talent in front of me. This kid went past poking a hornet nest and is now stabbing at heaven. Messing with 3 houses in one swing sure is amazing. He'd very soon find himself dead, that's how amazing he is. The emperor panted with rage. I hoped he'd be the one to revive Luo clan, but now I just pray he won't end up inviting Calamity and ruining the Luo clan altogether, and my secret pearl order. Mr. Sima chuckled and tried to mollify him. Your Majesty, at worst, I'll just have to intervene and tie him down so he won't pull any more stunts. In the end, the 3 houses don't dare to openly defy the imperial might, going after the Luo clan. Maybe not them, but one house does. Yuan Tsong whispered with a grin. Now the 2 recalled there was one more dead, unaccounted for. Who is he? Imperial father, it's best if you sit. Yuan Tsong emphasized every word. Regent Estate's second young master, Huangpu Qingyun. SSS. Mr. Sima was struck dumb. The emperor was having a panic attack, breathing in and out to finally recover his voice. My heart, damn it. This brat went and poked the heavens. Chapter 176, Regent Estate's Invitation. Chapter 176, Regent Estate's Invitation. A silence had swallowed the imperial gardens, one it had never seen since its making. Even the birds felt the situation was dire. Not making a peep, Yuan Tsong looked cautiously at the serious emperor sunk in deep thought. Mr. Sima frowned. Your Majesty, with how thoroughly blown out of proportion this matter is, I leave the decision to you. Perhaps giving up on Luo clan is. The emperor started pacing. His brows locked tight after ages. He stopped. His eyes were incredibly calm, while also hiding a deep hint of freezing, killing intent. No, I must protect the Luo clan and the boy. Waving, the emperor shouted, I have always exercised tolerance in my ruling. But this has gone far enough. They will push me down a cliff if I let this happen. Here's my decree. Inform Marshal Dugu to move swiftly. There's not a moment to lose. What, the second of the 4 pillars, War God Dugujantian is coming back? Yuan Tsong hesitated to speak, but Mr. Sima showed his unrest. Your Majesty, you can't. Marshal Dugu defends the borders. The Chuanrong wouldn't dare to step a foot beyond the Thunder Pond with him there. The border will descend into chaos if he leaves. You're exaggerating. For 30 years, the border had been peaceful. The emperor cut Mr. Sima's advice short. His eyes flashed coldly. I will show my cousin, who this land belongs to. He has crossed my final line. Shuddering inside, Mr. Sima knew the Emperor had made up his mind and sighed. Yuan Tsong bowed and then withdrew with the edict. The Emperor looked up, his eyes flashing as he laughed coldly. Prime Minister's residence in the imperial capital. Prime Minister Zhuge Changfeng was swinging in his rocking chair with his eyes closed in rest. Suddenly, a black figure came and whispered before vanishing again. Opening his eyes, Zhuge Changfeng revealed a calculative look as a smile grew on his face. The monkey had stirred enough ruckus in the heavenly temple and made him nervous. To even have that old man return. Ha ha ha, the time for the war between the 7 houses and him is soon upon us. Since this is the case, let me spice things up. Smiley face, Journey to the West reference. Monkey King always caused havoc in every task Jade Emperor gave him. Zhuge Changfeng looked in his yard, elders Yin and Yang. Prime Minister Zhuge, what is it that you ask of us? One black and one white figure flashed before him. Zhuge Changfeng smiled. Do you know where Thunderswarm Mountain is? It is a place for one of the Empire's tree guardian sects, the Demon Scheming sect. There is a large barrier there. It detains the 4 greatest criminals, now suffering the strikes of 10,000 lightning bolts every day for the past 60 years. The black-haired elder spoke nodding. Zhuge Changfeng smiled. Very good, can you go there and get them out? What? The two exchanged a glance, thinking they had heard him wrong. Prime Minister Zhuge, why would you want to? This is the matter of Demon Scheming sect that we shouldn't meddle in. Not only were the 4 savage disciples on the path of demonic cultivation, but held key positions within the sect. They can't be used. The white-haired elder cupped his hands, shaking his head. Zhuge Changfeng said, those 4 old fellows have been stuck there for 60 years. Demon Scheming sect couldn't care less anymore. As long as we keep our mouths shut about this, no one will know. Also, I never planned on recruiting the 4. Now, can you 2 do it or not? Of course. The 2 elders nodded. They may have not come from a great sect, but their skills have very much sharpened over the centuries. A mere barrier couldn't stop them. Nodding, Zhuge Changfeng laughed. Good, now go. The already restless Tianyu will soon reach a boiling point. Haha. Meanwhile, Veiled Dragon Pavilion's Pavilion Lord, Long Yifi, was listening along with the elders to Long Jiu's report. The shock palpable once Long Jiu finished. All were bug-eyed. You mean to say that Hell Valley's 5th elder lost an arm? 3rd elder cried out, understanding his feelings. Long Jiu smiled wryly as he advised. 3rd brother should relax. The kid had taken the bursting pill first. If you had taken it. But you also said that the 5th elder ate it too. 3rd elder's face sank in disappointment. Long Jiu rushed to say, yeah, you're right, but that kid ate 5. If you took 5-inch, I'd be a goner. 3rd elder cut him off with a sigh. He shook his mind clear and continued, moreover, he is only in the bone-tempering stage. Sigh, the young always surpasses the old. I must be getting too much in years. Long Jiu watched him sink into depression but didn't know what to say to make him feel better. If you know what's best for you, don't go comparing yourself with that little monster. An elder with white hair shouted, 3rd elder, why are you still hanging on to some meager honor? Did you not hear what it's at stake here? Regent Estates Huangpu Qingyun was killed. True, Regent Estates' imperial tyrant body art is mystical body art. Yet, that kid blew away Huangpu Qingyun's lower body to smithereens. Just how strong of a body must he have to pull it off? I know that even I fall short. 3rd elder looked even more downcast. The elders who spoke held his forehead. Brother is hopeless. He then turned to Long Yifi, Pavilion Lord. This matter concerns Regent Estate and it's best we do not get ourselves involved. If Regent Estate drags us into this because of the kid. But did you not hear Long Jiu? Regent Estate is targeting every other house. Even if the matter with Zhuofan never happened, sooner or later they would come knocking on our door. If we cut ties with Zhuofan, we'll only be avoiding the truth. We may soon find ourselves following in Drifting Flowers' edifice's footstep. Another elder interrupted, from what you say, you want us to work together with Zhuofan to fend off Regent Estate? This is giving them an excuse to wipe us off the earth. That will happen even without an excuse. Can we not see how much ambition the Regent Estate has? This will end us grounded down the same way it happened to Drifting Flowers' edifice. I'd rather fight now than see that happen. Enough! Long Yifi shouted over the clamor, breaking the argument. It is I who agreed to become allies with Zhuofan, and this shall not change even now. The kid's display had opened my eyes, realizing he will be a great help to us. I will say this again, as long as Zhuofan lives, our alliance with the Luo clan is still in effect. But Pavilion Lord, Regent Estate. Enough, this is my decision. Long Yifi's eyes flashed. Our alliance with Zhuofan has always been followed through in the dark. The Regent Estate has no clue this is happening. They have nothing to use against us. So that's why. The other elders exclaimed, Pavilion Lord is brilliant. Humph, what brilliant? It's called tactics. Long Yifi let out a bitter laughter. He may hate this kind of person the most, but for the sake of his house, this was the best choice. Pavilion Lord, Regent Estate sent a letter. A disciple shouted from beyond the doors. Long Yifi looked at the elders, then let the man in Regent Estate came swiftly. The disciple bowed before Long Yifi, and presented the letter with the Regent Estate words written in gold on it. Long Yifi was startled the moment he opened it. Third elder snatched the letter and his eyes widened. Regent Estate will hold an assembly half a month from now. The 7 houses are to convene and plan to remove the demon scourge. You mean? Long Yifi nodded. Regent Estate is playing a ferocious move this time. The last time they did this was just 300 years ago. Yeah, but that little monster 300 years ago had the 7 houses going crazy. While this time, Regent Estate is playing this move just for its own benefit without even asking the opinion of the 6 houses. It is basically acting as though it is the head of the 7 houses. Third elder spat. The Veiled Dragon Pavilion cannot lose again in the next esoteric debate. The others all nodded. The other 5 houses received the Regent Estate's invitation at the same time. Suddenly, the 6 houses were now en route to convene with the Regent Estate on the plan to rid the world of Demon Archon Zhuofan. Achoo! Zhuofan was speeding towards the Luo clan when he suddenly felt a chill and shuddered. He rubbed his nose. Blast it, who's cursing me this time? Why is it that I feel a chill on my back? Ha ha ha! Steward Zhua kicked a storm in Drifting Flowers City, with casualties in the thousands. Their grief must be focused on you. Vicious Pill King was laughing at his side, having a blast. Zhuofan raised an eyebrow and mocked. Elder Yen, Drifting Flowers Edifice's grief is far stronger on you. Don't you feel the chill from the tens of thousand female disciples putting all their sorrow and pain on you? Vicious Pill King chuckled sheepishly. I'm used to it. Zhuofan grinned. None of them were good people, so this teasing had no effect on either of them. Wait. Zhuofan suddenly halted and Vicious Pill King asked, What's wrong? Snickering, Zhuofan said, They move fast. An ambush is laid for us not half a mile from here. Chapter 177 Sneak Attack. Chapter 177 Sneak Attack. What? Vicious Pill King watched Zhuofan baffled. Then, he recalled how in Drifting Flowers City Zhuofan's soul reached the radiant stage and new discerning field, and after so much time had passed, it would have been odd if he couldn't get more used to it and detect movements in half a mile. Closing his eyes, Zhuofan said, In a forest half a mile out, 2 people are hiding to the west. From their energy, they must be from Hell Valley. To the east, there are also 2 quick on their feet, probably Merrywoods. And finally the 2 in the north with heavy air about them. Cultivators of Imperial Tyrant Body Art are experts from Regent Estate. and all 6 of them are in the 5th layer of Profound Heaven stage. Steward Joie is amazing to use Radiant Stage's ability. Vicious Pill King praised. Now we can just avoid them and let them wait forever, ha ha ha. Quirking an eyebrow, Joifan snickered. And why should we? Since they are here, we might as well duke it out. Steward Joie, you can't. Vicious Pill King was flustered as he tried to explain. They are clearly prepared this time. In the Drifting Flowers City, you fought the 4 of us, and, as much as it pains to admit, we underestimated you. Not to mention, we were all from different houses, with gaps in our cooperation. Now that the houses sent pairs, even if you take that pill again, it will only make them drag it out, then end you at your weakest. Raising an eyebrow, Joifan eyed him deeply. I didn't think the old man would be so caring so quickly. He said, I was alone then, but don't I have you now? Me! Vicious Pill King shook his head. The common folk fears me for my rainbow cloud palm. But with how many there are here, only one has to bear the brunt of my poison, and I will be a goner. Later, he just has to go get the antidote from Pill King Hall. I'm sure you are clear on this from the moment you fought my disciple. Indeed, he was posing as Song Yu at the time, but being relentless was the bane of Pill King Hall's poison. At worst, it was one life at the price of another. Moreover, the enemy was now working together. Even if they did get poisoned, Pill King Hall would offer the antidote and Vicious Pill King's threat would plummet. What if you can poison them all? Won't their power drop? Eyes flashing, a grin was plastered on Joifan. Vicious Pill King didn't seem to get it. How can I? They're not stupid to sit still and take on my palm. And they're all Profound Heaven experts. They may not be able to use Radiant Stage's abilities, but they can at least discern any movements in a 1,000-meter radius. The moment we approach, they'll spot us and we'll have no chance of retaliation. Smiley face, author mistake perhaps? First half a mile, now a kilometer? Smiley face might not be. He got used to it, but he is still new. It might be that the ability is stronger. And if they can't spot us? Joifan watched Vicious Pill King with a playful smile. Vicious Pill King was baffled, then saw a red pill thrown his way. Vicious Pill King watched it even more perplexed. Joifan said, This is an energy-concealing pill, a first-grade pill. For a full day, your energy won't be released. Unless someone sees you, or a Radiant Stage expert actively searches for you, no one will notice. Joifan took one in a blink, his aura vanished. Vicious Pill King watched dumbstruck. Since when did such a marvelous pill exist in this world? How come I never heard of it? And a first grade as well? Vicious Pill King's shock and disbelief were understandable. Joifan mocked. It is an ancient pill recipe. How could you know of it? But that's not important. I will tell you about it later, since I recruited you to help me to make pills. The energy-concealing pill will be of great importance later. For now, stick close. We will talk again after we deal with these pesky flies. Joifan resumed flight. Vicious Pill King swallowed it after a moment of shock, then followed him excitedly, putting aside how amazing the Luo clan was. Just getting to study these ancient pills from Joifan was a reward in and of itself. Following this kid was the best choice I ever made. Vicious Pill King's heart was dancing in joy, the same as when he made his first living pill. In a hidden part of the forest, 2 elders in white sat on 2 rocks with their eyes closed. Even so, they were always on guard, listening to every rustle, every gust of wind. Only when they were certain the gust wasn't made by some expert did they relax. Third brother, will that kid really pass through here? We've been at this for days and there's still no sign of him. Did he pass us already or took another route? One elder muttered. The other elder still held his eyes closed and his position on the rock. Mr. Ling is famed for his insight. He doesn't make mistakes. He said that we will meet the killer of 6th brother here today. It will soon be over, just be patient. But all this waiting is so boring. The other elder sighed. Then a black shadow moved closer, unperceived by the pair. When it got behind them, with a thunderous roar, 2 wings ran the 2 through Juefan, then came out of the shadow spatting blood. The 2 elders opened their eyes and strained their heads behind them, just to see Juefan looking down on them. I was afraid you 2 would spot me, so I used elusive shadow art, but you guys always had your eyes closed. You can't be serious even when laying in ambush. Sigh, Mary Woods is doomed to perish. Under the shock of the 2, Juefan twisted their neck. Then, black energy swallowed the bodies, leaving naught but ash in its wake. The 2 were so dumbstruck before, still disbelieving to be caught off guard so thoroughly clapping. Juefan shrugged. He learned from his encounter with Lin Zetian that Mary Woods's cultivation method boasted great speed. So he figured he'd rather deal with these 2 first and remove the trouble later. What he didn't expect was for this pair to wait in ambush with eyes closed. They were clearly begging for it. You mean to say killing 4 elders of the 7 houses doesn't warrant any contingencies? Well, they make it easier for me to do what I want, at least. After devouring the 2 experts, he could feel the Yuan Qi inside him surging. Juefan turned to the west, at where Hell Valley's elders lay in wait. Humph, old enemies do meet often, it seems. Juefan snickered, turned into a shadow, and began haunting his way forward. The elders in the west weren't like Mary Woods, waiting idly. Their aura was somber and watching over any sign of movement around them. They knew Juefan for who he was and never dropped their guard for a second. 3rd elder, the kid is late and it's making me nervous. An elder watched around, ready to pounce. His hawk eyes scrutinized every inch. The other elder was just as vigilant, but through some strange coincidence, he always kept 100 meters from his partner. 4th elder, the kid not only killed 7th elder but even crippled 5th elder. He is vicious to the core and hard to handle. We must not underestimate him for being in the bone-tempering stage. He will be here soon, and we must work together and avoid ending like 7th elder and 5th elder. Relax, I consider this kid a veteran profound heaven expert. The 4th elder nodded with a grave expression. A shadow was creeping in on him, listening to his words. Juefan raised an eyebrow and mocked them in his mind. You don't say. Your welcoming of your enemy is truly worthy of this demonic emperor. Although, how am I to ambush you when you're so on edge? Juefan started recalling the 2 wastes from Mary Woods. Those guys saved him a lot of trouble, but what about this pair? He would be hard-pressed to get rid of these 2 quickly, not to mention, they were higher than 5th elder in rank. Sighing, Juefan began to hesitate. Then he heard a boom and a rainbow mist rose in the north. Everything this mist touched, be it plants, animals, and even rocks, decayed. The 2 elders looked in shock. Rainbow Cloud Palm? Why is King Hall here? I thought they weren't included in this plan? 3rd elder asked. 4th elder paused, then waved indifferently. He. Didn't the kid kill their best alchemist? I heard that he stole his corpse later on. This is one shame they can't take lying down. I suspect they came here willingly. Anyway, the more we are, the better the odds. But why are they using Rainbow Cloud Palm? 3rd elder paused, then came to a shocking conclusion. The other elder's eyes shined and shouted. They found the kid. We better hurry and help. But before they could even take to the skies, they saw 2 people rushing towards them. The elders panicked. Aren't they Regent Estates elders? Why are they poisoned? Was it an accident? In their moment of doubt, a shadow flitted behind them. Chapter 178 Nefarious. Chapter 178 Nefarious. Whoosh. As 3rd elder and 4th elder were still trying to make sense of the Regent Estates elder's poisoning, Juefan stabbed his wings towards 4th elder's chest. He was run through in a blink. He began to feel a sting in his chest, then how his body grew ever weaker as the life ebbed out of him. He then slumped on the ground. 4th elder. 3rd elder roared, but Juefan's 2nd wing was already coming at him. However, these 2 elders matched well with each other even in their daily lives, more so in battle. They attacked and retreated in such a way that they always maintained a fixed distance. This was happening now as well, making Zhuofan's attack only take down 4th Elder, while 3rd Elder was just too far away for him to reach in time. 3rd Elder jumped backward and dodged the lightning wing. He saw 4th Elder's corpse, then turned his bloodshot eyes to Zhuofan. Thirsting for revenge, Zhuofan glanced at the corpse below him, then at the profound heaven expert opposite of him, and grinned. "Are you that demon Archon Zhuofan?" 3rd Elder clenched his fists, his aura exploding with immense power. He was in the 8th layer of profound heaven stage. Not even a pill could guarantee Zhuofan a win in this fight, but Zhuofan kept his cool at all times, nodding slightly, then looking at the dead 4th Elder. "Is he your brother? You fit quite well together. What's it to you? You killed 7th Elder, 4th Elder, and crippled 5th Elder. I will make sure you never leave this place alive." 3rd Elder spat through clenched teeth, yet his ever-raging eyes couldn't help but pause over his brother's body, taking it all in. Zhuofan snickered. He then had the corpse suspended with his lightning wings. "What are you doing?" 3rd Elder roared. "To my enemy I will not only kill him but ruin his corpse as well, making him die in regret." Zhuofan snorted. 3rd Elder was about to charge, but Zhuofan suddenly sighed, however. 3rd Elder stared wide-eyed. "Seeing you brother so close, I will let him go. After all, I also have a brother earned from life and death struggles, only to die at the hands of you geeky. If not for this, I wouldn't have had any quarrel with Hell Valley." Zhuofan sighed and shook his head. 3rd Elder was stunned, relating to this third-rate clan kid, and why he became Hell Valley's enemy. Thinking of his earlier action, he also would have charged and exact revenge for his brother regardless of peril. "Even so, you think I'll let you go?" 3rd Elder snorted. Angry still, Zhuofan snickered and raised his head to show his blazing eyes. "For my brother's revenge I have incurred upon me today's disaster, but I do not regret it. How could I ask my enemy for forgiveness? But seeing you meet the same fate as I did, I won't ruin his body and return it to you." Zhuofan flicked lightning wings and threw the corpse to 3rd Elder. 3rd Elder moved with haste, now looking at Zhuofan with a faint trace of respect as he bellowed, "Good, we will have a man-to-man fight and see who's the real Ugh." 3rd Elder stopped for some reason, feeling a chill in his heart. Looking down, he saw a fist-sized hole in his chest that wasn't there before. Blood flowed in rivers from it. 3rd Elder looked at Zhuofan in complete and utter perplexity. "What's going on? We didn't even start fighting and I'm already dying?" With a snicker, Zhuofan waved. A golden light came from 3rd Elder's back, flying over next to Zhuofan. 3rd Elder watched the golden infant closer. "This is my demonic creature. I hid it in the body and threw it over all so I could catch you off guard. That is why I also cooked up that little story about my dead brother. I only killed you geeky for being an eyesore." Waving at 3rd Elder, Zhuofan sent him off with his most demonic smile he could muster. "Fare thee well, loyal and cherishing Hell Valley's 3rd Elder. I hope you won't be so gullible to a stranger's words in your next life. Especially your enemies." Ha ha ha. Falling backward, 3rd Elder felt himself going colder, his eyes still reflecting Zhuofan's last smile. Demon Archon Zhuofan's nefarious ploys are foolproof. No wonder even 7th Elder fell victim. Bam! 3rd Elder fell next to his brother, yet, as his mind stopped working, those eyes were forever opened and evoked unspeakable regret. They were sent here to end Zhuofan, only to fumble about and die so miserably. "I took too long here. Better go and help Elder Yen." Sighing, Zhuofan took back Blood Infant and flew up high. In 4 breaths, he arrived above the northern part of the forest. The Regent Estate's elders were now green with poison. Despite being in the 9th stage of Profound Heaven stage, the poison was nonetheless effective in dropping them all the way to the 4th layer. Yet, even in such a case, a body cultivator was still as strong as a normal 6th layer Profound Heaven expert. Recalling Huangpu Qingyun's might in his 2nd layer, he realized Regent Estate's body cultivators were not pushovers. It was an accident. I made a mistake. I thought Demon Zhuofan was hiding here. Bullshit. Who in this world doesn't know we are from Regent Estate, especially with these clothes? Don't try to play the fool. You did this on purpose. Stay right there. We'll break your bones and we will go together to your Pill King Hall to settle this. Up in the sky, vicious Pill King fled like a frightened mouse, with the 2 Regent Estates elders on his tail, with how vicious Pill King was proclaimed dead and rejuvenated a couple decades after removing the poison. These 2 elders had no clue as to who he really was, but he wasn't about to shout it out either. Would a traitor like him have any resting moment from Pill King Hall and the entire Empire's pursuit? He may be vicious Pill King, but he was not as skilled as Zhuofan, and clearly not as bold to be hunted down by everyone Zhuofan's side. Where had the great and might vicious Pill King from Drifting Flowers Edifice gone to? Why was he such a scaredy-cat before 2 of Regent Estate's elders? Is it Regent Estate too strong, or vicious Pill King just too damn weak? Zhuofan already knew the answer, but didn't want to accept it. Because his troubles would grow exponentially if it was so. Regent Estate, I will surpass you in 10 years. Zhuofan's eyes flashed, spotting Zhuofan. Vicious Pill King laughed as if he found his savior. Steward Zhuo, you finally came. Save me. Vicious Pill King dashed behind Zhuofan without an ounce of propriety at this point. The 2 elders also caught up. Seeing Zhuofan's lightning wings, they shouted, "Bone-tempering stage cultivation, lightning wings, you're that demon Archon, Zhuofan, who made a mess of Drifting Flowers City. The one and only. And you 2 must be from Regent Estate. I take it." Zhuofan said with a chill in his voice. They nodded, then eyeing vicious Pill King behind him with curiosity. Now I see. Pill King Hall had turned to rely on Demon Archon Zhuofan. No wonder he attacked us on the sly. You still dare say it was an accident? Vicious Pill King snickered. The 2 elders snorted. Why do you think Regent Estate's Imperial Tyrant body art makes us the best among the 7 houses? It's that not even your Rainbow Cloud Palm can kill us. We will crush you both and fulfill our mission. Humph, you're a broken record, you know that? You're clearly weaker now and still prance around saying you can take us on? Zhuofan snorted in disdain. The 2 elders cracked up. Even weakened, we are more than enough to wring the life out of you. I don't believe you. Why not try killing him first? Zhuofan chuckled and threw Vicious Pill King forward. Vicious Pill King cried in panic. Did Zhuofan just sell me out? The 2 were puzzled, but still grabbed tight to Vicious Pill King. Feeling him trembling in their grasp, they were stumped. Grinning evilly, Zhuofan said, "You shouldn't take him for the coward he is. He has real skill, you know." To prove his point, a golden glow came out of Vicious Pill King and entered one of the elders. The elder froze in place, and one could even see how he started drying up like a raisin. His life was swiftly leaving him shell-shocked. The other elder darted 100 meters back. Even Vicious Pill King was just as horrified. He never saw Zhuofan make use of Blood Infant, nor kill with demon transformation art. Now he was watching this all play out in utter fear. How can such an abominable and cruel method exist? Floating before Vicious Pill King, Zhuofan recalled Blood Infant sneakily and laughed at the frightened remaining Regent Estate elder. Did you see that? Now, can you still boast about taking us on? The elder had his voice shocked out of him and watched Vicious Pill King in horror. Forget it. That old guy is inconsequential. What matters is I get Zhuofan's head and complete my mission. I don't need to worry myself with that old man's eerie skill. The elder took a deep breath and laughed. Kid, you're good to have found such a patron. Then, I will spare your life today, but what is that? Suddenly, the elder pointed behind the 2 with panic. Zhuofan and Vicious Pill King turned to look. In that blink, the elder snickered and appeared before Zhuofan in a single step, aiming for Zhuofan's head. Bam! The elder didn't get to touch one hair on his head, however, as a golden light flew from Zhuofan and blew a hole in the elder's chest. Zhuofan turned back to see the shocked elder. That's the oldest trick in the book. Don't you know anything else? Now, I finally know what that old saying means, all brawn and no brain. Chuckling, Zhuofan lightly pushed and the man fell like trash in the abyss. Vicious Pill King had long been stupefied by how easily Zhuofan dealt with two experts from Regent Estate. He now understood what it meant to kill people as easy as chatting. Chapter 179 Unwanted Contriver. Chapter 179 Unwanted Contriver. Whoosh! The golden light moved about, then returned to Zhuofan's side. Vicious Pill King watched the golden infant with shock. What just happened? Simple really, since you fled around like a mouse, they held you in contempt. So I put my demonic creature in you before throwing you over to deal with one of them. Grinning, Zhuofan added, when a powerful profound heaven expert died without rhyme or reason, it got his partner scared out of his mind. I used this chance to recall the demonic creature. This time, he held you in too high regard, thinking you hid yourself to pull a fast one on them. And by comparison, he thought I was the easy target this time and charged for me. And to make matter run smoothly, he had his attention split between me and you, leaving room for my demonic creature to catch him off guard. Vicious Pill King blinked, still out of sorts. Zhuofan laughed. In the end, they all died. First was arrogance, second overconfident, third conceitedness. Steward Zhuo, aren't they all the same? Vicious Pill King muttered, raising an eyebrow. Zhuofan laughed harder. Indeed, this is the disease that plagues every expert. Facing them head first will make me lose without a doubt. Too bad, they were too full of themselves. To others, this will hardly matter, but when it comes to me, a fraction of a second of carelessness is enough for me to give them a death full of regrets. A bolt of fear went through his core as Vicious Pill King watched Zhuo with even more admiration. Now that he thought about it, everything panned out just as Zhuofan explained. It was all done with the sole purpose of baiting the Regent Estate elders, and it worked like a charm without even realizing it. The two bit the dust in but a blink. Rather than say this was a well-thought-out and ingenious trap preset by Zhuofan, it was in fact more along the lines of him reading them like a book and pushing the right buttons to make them fall into a trap themselves. Such cunningness is unheard of. No wonder even you geeky fell. Vicious Pill King held a deep respect for Zhuofan now. Steward Zhuo is of endless wisdom and courage, with foolproof plans. But being just a steward is a waste for you. Humph, you don't need to go ass-kissing. I am clear where my talent lies. Nothing is beneath me, be it a higher rank or the entire world. Only. Zhuofan sighed as he looked in Windgaze City's direction. This wasn't the time for such thoughts, but to settle the safety of Luo clan and avoid any trouble they might suffer. This wasn't just forced on him by his heart demon, but a wish that slowly crept into his mind without his notice. Since Vicious Pill King didn't know the whole story, he thought it was for a much higher purpose. His eyes roamed in thought, then snapped into focus when he reached a shocking conclusion. A youth of remarkable talent like Zhuofan was willing to be a steward, and what was a steward? The clan head's right-hand man, able to do everything and loyal to a fault. What monster was this clan head to be able to raise such a young and outstanding Zhuofan, yet as cunning and vile like a demon archon? Seeing Zhuofan's look, that staunch resolve to do everything in his power for the Luo clan, his admiration only grew for this clan head. This was his first time hearing Tianyu had such a titanic clan, such a person of overbearing might. Vicious Pill King was eager to meet this person, and was jumping in joy inside. Vicious Pill King was having a flight of fancy of epic proportions, hailing the Luo clan into the ranks of 7 houses, while holding the clan head in even more admiration and regard than the emperor himself. How could he ever have known the Luo clan was not even a first-rate clan? That the clan head was long rotting in the dirt and leaving a pair of wretched brother and sister behind. They should be thankful Zhuofan was there to keep their sorry lives. Delusions were bliss while reality, a dump. But that was something dear Vicious Pill King would have to experience for himself when he gazed upon the glorious Luo clan. Let's go. Zhuofan was ready to resume their journey when Vicious Pill King laughed. Steward Zhua, are those other 2 places handled? Zhuofan knew what he was hinting at and rolled his eyes. Cut the crap. Think I had time to waste saving your sorry ass if I hadn't finished those other 4 blokes? Ha ha ha, Steward Zhua is of genuine talent. 4 profound heaven experts from Merry Woods and Hell Valley dealt with in a blink. All while I couldn't even handle 2 Regent Estate elders. I am ashamed. Vicious Pill King's admiration only grew, and the more he admired Zhuofan, the more he believed in Luo clan's power. And, of course, sinking deeper into his delusion. Suddenly, Zhuofan stopped and Vicious Pill King looked over. Zhuofan squinted. Elder Yen, I overheard Merry Woods' elders mentioning that Mr. Lung planned this ambush. Do you know him? Lung Wuchang. Zhuofan's words stirred Vicious Pill King. No wonder. I thought with so many roads leading to Wingay City, how is it they managed to pick the exact same one we were taking? So it was all Ling Wuchang's doing. You know him? Nodding, Vicious Pill King sighed. To be frank, Steward Zhua and Ling Wuchang are much alike. I know nothing about him, just how are we so damn alike? Zhuofan's eyes flashed knowing Zhuofan didn't understand. Vicious Pill King elaborated. Ha ha ha, what I mean to say is that he is a steward like you, but that of the Regent Estate. What? Zhuofan was shocked for a second, then he started making guesses. With how Regent Estate was the strongest of the 7 houses, the steward, the 8 of the clan head, had to be a man of renown. There are 3 people widely known for their wisdom in Tianyu Empire. Prime Minister Zhuge, one which you already know. Regardless of what decisions he makes, they are all so irrefutably correct that no one could find any fault in them. In recent centuries, the empire had been in turmoil because of invaders beyond the borders. That was until he took office. As the head of the 4 pillars, the emperor hates him to the bone, but he can't do without him either. The 7 houses as well fear him. Vicious Pill King flicked his sleeve and continued. The 2nd sage is Regent Estate's steward, Unwanted Contriver Ling Wuchang. As a distant relative of the imperial family, the Regent Estate is taught in the same way an emperor is. Their steward was also appointed by the Prime Minister. Ling Wuchang may be a steward in name, but his position carries a whole lot more weight. He is equivalent to Zhuge Chongfeng's position in the empire. Regarding talent, rumor has it he is not one bit inferior to Zhuge Chongfeng either, although no one had seen them wage a battle of the minds. Ling Wuchang is admired by all for his foolproof plans and insight. And the 3rd. Zhuofan was impatient seeing Vicious Pill King stop just now laughing. Vicious Pill King's eyes shined oddly. Steward Zhua, isn't it obvious? It is you who killed the 3rd. Insidious demon, you geeky? Zhuofan caught his meaning. Vicious Pill King nodded. Ha ha ha, yes him. The 3rd sage was Insidious Demon, famed for his dastardly and cunning ploys. But ever since he stumbled upon Steward Zhua, a man of wildly greater intellect, his head fell like a rock. From that point on, Steward Zhua became the 3rd sage of Tianyu. Hey, easy on the bootlicking. I killed him using power alone. I didn't waste my brain power on him. That would have been tiresome. Zhuofan mocked as he brushed off his flattery. Vicious Pill King stroked his beard and nodded. I guessed as much. You geeky may not be up to the level of the other 2, but it is nonetheless hard to catch him off guard. So, he must have died from the power gap. Does that mean Ling Wuchang is more cunning than you geeky? Zhuofan tightened his brows as the topic was brought out. Nodding, Vicious Pill King laughed in dismay. Ha ha ha, more than that. Zhuge Chongfeng is a marvelous strategist. Ling Wuchang's every scheme plays as it should. You geeky's devious traps are unsolvable. Compared to the first 2, you geeky was passable in schemes, but fell dreadfully short in power. The first 2 had intricate plans put in place. Hard to defend from the dark, yet openly for everyone to see. You could see through Yu Geeki's elaborate tricks, but when it comes to Zhuge Changfeng and Leng Wuchang, you'll have no choice but to jump even if they tell you a trap is before you. Who is better, who is inferior, who is stronger, who is weaker? Steward Zhua, now do you know the difference between them? Vicious Pill King sighed, his tone ever solemn. Since Leng Wuchang is involved, we must tread carefully and lightly. Zhuofan nodded. Since he was far more shrewd than Yu Geeki, then he would not contest him in cunning, but in strength. No matter how ingenious and convoluted plans he threw at Zhuofan, power reigned supreme. This was the true plot, in which power was the true way. This brought him back to finding experts to back the Luo clan who... A sudden breeze blew and Zhuofan squinted. He grew anxious as he pulled Vicious Pill King's hand to fly faster. Let's go. What's wrong, Steward Zhua? Having never seen him so alarmed, Vicious Pill King was startled, eyes twitching. Zhuofan gnashed his teeth. Curses, they sent a radiant stage expert as well. What? This time Vicious Pill King was panicking. How can this be? Chapter 180 Paying Respects to a Radiant Stage. Chapter 180 Paying Respects to a Radiant Stage. Half a mile out, a tall and buffed elderly with silver hair was flying idly behind them. Then, his brows furrowed, and a hint of shock swept his face. Was I discovered? The elderly's eyes flashed in suspicion, then shook his head. Not possible. They are only a bone-tempering stage and a profound heaven stage. Only the likes of radiant stage experts can discover me. They picked up the pace since they were hurrying. Yes, that has to be it. Laughing dryly, the elderly had no clue how close to home his random guess brought him. If these two with their low cultivation could spot a radiant stage, then the latter would find themselves obsolete. The old man used his soul to scour the place of battle and shouted, "Damn brat, they're so weak yet, they killed 6 profound heaven experts of 3 houses, and perfectly too. He, his reputation precedes him. The kid must have an even more valuable body cultivation method than Imperial Tyrant body art." He licked his lips and excitement danced in his eyes as he increased his speed, but his act was easily picked up by Zhuofan as he pulled Vicious Pill King even faster. There was no denying it this time, the old man was spotted. Why else would Zhuofan react so quickly? Then he recalled his earlier thought about being obsolete. His face went red in a flash, and felt like slapping himself for those needless remarks. But the way he looked at Zhuofan was with even more zeal. This kid is a freak through and through. How amusing! The old man ramped up his speed 10 times and in mere breaths. He already caught the two in his sights, only 1,000 meters out. Startled, Zhuofan found his pursuer close behind and shouted, "Shit, the old guy is almost on top of us." "What, that fast?" Vicious Pill King peeked behind and paled in fright. "Why did it have to be this freak? My poor life is over." "You know him?" Zhuofan asked. Vicious Pill King nodded on the verge of tears. "Who doesn't? Everyone of my generation knows and fears this freak." "Who is he?" "The Mad Dipper, Li Jingtian." Vicious Pill King swallowed dryly as he broke out in cold sweat. Zhuofan was also becoming anxious, having never seen Vicious Pill King so scared before. With how arrogant he usually was, he would stand up even to a radiant stage if the chance arose. Just then, a booming laughter entered their ears. "Ha ha ha, don't run, I recognize you. Aren't you that Yensong kid? And is that little imp next to you is Zhuofan? You better halt, there's something I want to discuss with you." Vicious Pill King's face sank. Why is it that my face changed so much that those 2 Regent Estate elders couldn't tell who I am even when they held me, yet you saw through me from a mile away? Then, he realized. The old freak just scanned with his soul and instantly knew the truth. Zhuofan could feel the shivering Vicious Pill King, and was panicking as well. This guy was no pushover. Their fate would be grim once the old guy gets his paws on them. Only a moron would stop now. His lightning wings flapped and doubled his speed. Humph. Learn when to quit. Squinting, Li Jingtian released a ripple that shot straight for the two with deadly precision, killing with intent. Zhuofan looked back flustered as the azure flame flashed in his eyes. Another visible ripple was shot. Incomparable with the first, but enough to pull up a defense against the first one. Bam. The two intents clashed, vibrating the space itself. A bolt of pain shocked Zhuofan's head, and the azure flame appeared on his forehead next. Zhuofan pulled Vicious Pill King speeding up as he tried to ease the shock. He felt his soul may have entered the radiant stage, but he was a long way from being Li Jingtian's level. When their intents collided, it forced his azure flame out. He was clear the azure flame safeguarded his soul. Its appearance proved what a serious threat the old man's intent had to his soul, despite not meaning to kill him outright. Even so, his soul wasn't free from injury. If that intent had hit, he'd be out cold and waiting for the old guy to pick him up while he was shocked. 1,000 meters behind him, Li Jingtian was downright struck dumb. He really didn't see it coming. Only a radiant stage could grasp this ability yet. He just witnessed a bone-tempering cultivator using it. He looked as if he saw a tiger sprout wings and take off. Not only was it impossible, but seeing it become reality, he realized what a true freak that kid was. A tiger was the king of beasts. If it took flight, then who could stand up to him? He felt a real threat coming off from Zhuofan. He could use Radiant Stage's abilities in the bone-tempering stage. Then, when he reached the Radiant Stage, he'd be unstoppable at that point. Even fellow Radiant Stage cultivators would fall beneath the kid's intent. This last thought sent a shiver down Li Jingtian's spine. No wonder the 7 houses gathered to end this brat once and for all. The best freakout, there was a dead one. Leave him alone and he might grow even beyond the demon. 3 centuries ago bloodthirst seeped into Li Jingtian's eyes. If he found Zhuofan amusing at first, now he wanted nothing more than to squeeze the last drop of life out of him and rid the world of a future menace. But that didn't say anything about not wringing out the things he wanted. First, Li Jingtian went faster, shooting for the two like a meteor. Zhuofan could barely react as their necks were grabbed in steel like vices. Ha ha ha, let's see you run now? So fast. Zhuofan scowled, wondering if he should use this chance to let Blood Infant on him. But he cast that thought aside as soon as it came. This man was in the Radiant Stage, and had discerning field around him. Blood Infant would be discovered the instant it left his body. Unless Blood Infant entered the Profound Heaven Stage and reached a speed that surpassed a Radiant Stage's soul detection. A pity. He was only in the 5th layer of bone-tempering stage. Since he shared his life with Blood Infant, the two had the same cultivation. God damn it! Why did I bump into a Radiant Stage? Zhuofan cursed inside his bad luck, as cold sweat ran down his back. He was utterly powerless in the face of a Radiant Stage expert. This feeling of having his life in the hands of someone else was the worst he'd ever felt, not to mention, dangerous. Ha ha ha, you little prick, I don't know how you become so young and handsome, but no matter how fast you run, you can never escape me. Ignoring Zhuofan, Li Jingtian turned to the shivering Vicious Pill King. Vicious Pill King looked as if he just lost his mum. Senior Li, how can I compare to you? When you became widely known throughout Tianyu, I was but a lowly 2nd-grade alchemist. Don't you care how people will see you if you kill me? Oh, I always heard how haughty. Vicious Pill King, but you looked more like a mouse to me. Where's your zeal, your backbone? Elder Li, don't joke. I would never dare act pompous before you. Vicious Pill King said downcast. Senior Li, in the end, you are Regent Estate's guest venerable. This is obviously a misunderstanding between the houses. Why not? Houses? Raising an eyebrow, Li Jingtian cracked up. You mean Regent Estate and Pill King Hall, or Regent Estate and Zhuofan's clan? Vicious Pill King's mind shivered at this. He was planning on keeping his dumb act, to get out of this alive. But it didn't look like this was going to happen any time sooner. Li Jingtian's smile was frosty. Don't think I don't know. I saw your fight earlier. You turned your back on Pill King Hall and threw your lot with Zhuofan. Vicious Pill King was stumped, turning to Zhuofan for a way out. Since going back to Pill King Hall was out, betraying Zhuofan was impossible. That would make him immoral. He was Vicious Pill King, not an opportunist like Lin Zetian who swung both ways. He still cared about his face, albeit younger. Sighing, Vicious Pill King admitted, "Yes, I left Pill King Hall. I will follow Steward Zhua to the Luo clan. Now if you want to kill me, go ahead." Zhuofan nodded. Inside he saw Vicious Pill King as a devout alchemist foremost and a loyalist second, a man you could count on. Li Jingtian didn't expect such a blunt reply and laughed. "Good. Yen Song. You live up to your rumors. I will let you go, but this kid. You want to kill me?" Zhuofan raised an eyebrow, staring at Li Jingtian. "Sure. I mean, you are Regent Estates Venerable and I killed your second young master, and you want vindication. But I couldn't help but hear that you are their guest Venerable and have no relation with Regent Estate. Where are you going with this?" Li Jingtian's eyes flashed grinning. Zhuofan spoke boldly. "Then let's discuss terms for you to join me. What Regent Estate offers you, I, Zhuofan, can not only meet their offer, but double it." Chapter 181 A Martial Fanatic with Honors. Chapter 181 A Martial Fanatic with Honors. A what? Li Jingtian and Vicious Pill King were shocked. Silly Regent Estate was the head of the 7 houses and fulfilled Li Jingtian's however pricey terms. But was there anyone else in the whole empire who could simply double it? Even the imperial family would find it hard to meet twice what Regent Estate offered. But thinking over Zhuofan's skill and the titanic and secret clan behind him, Vicious Pill King started grinning. Since Zhuofan boasted the Luo clan as the best in Tianyu, then it had to be above the 7 houses, even equal to the imperial family. Vicious Pill King stuck out his head and laughed. "Elderly, our steward Zhuo's words are gold." Li Jingtian's eyes flashed, thinking how deceitful Zhuofan was. Of course he didn't believe a word. But the moment Yen Song laid eyes on him, he bolted like a mouse, yet was now puffing up his chest. This led him to believe Zhuofan had stronger and very much real backing for him to speak such words. How was he supposed to know Yen Song's courage was born out of delusions? A more apt description would be Zhuofan painted him a pretty picture, and Yen Song's mind embellished. Since the strong Vicious Pill King believed it, it conveyed enough confidence for Li Jingtian to maybe trust it as well. Muttering something, Li Jingtian snorted. "Humph, you little pup, you think too highly of yourself. If you think you can buy me over, you have another thing coming. Do you have any idea how I met Regent Estate, how I became their venerable, and what they gave me?" Vicious Pill King's heart was wound tight. "Is Mad Dipper unbuyable?" Zhuofan grinned, hiding the sneer in his heart. "Oh, you big schmuck. I didn't know who you were before, but now I'm perfectly clear. You wouldn't be flouncing around if you were such a Regent Estate diehard. You'd be ending us with impunity and taking our corpses back. Ain't it obvious you're bitching to ask for a bigger pay? I've played this game myself a million times." Squinting, Zhuofan smiled. "My knowledge is shallow. Having not heard of Elder Li's glorious pursuits, I ask that you enlighten me." "Ha ha ha, I knew you were wet behind your ears. That's why you spouted those egotistical words about buying me. Although I can't blame you, since I haven't gone out much for you to hear of me." Nodding with pride, thinking things were going his way, Li Jingtian turned to Vicious Pill King. "However, if I were to retell old stories of myself, all you'd be hearing is bragging. Yen Song, you tell him." Shivering, Vicious Pill King bobbed his head. "Right away." Despite the apprehension he felt, Vicious Pill King glanced at Li Jingtian, then spoke with the utmost gravity. "Steward Zhua, Elder Li is a man that shook the empire. You'd be hard-pressed to find another grand figure such as him in the whole of Tianyu Empire. Elder Li started as a rogue cultivator, no match to any of the 7 houses' experts. However, his mind was staunch, his heart set on giving his all in training his arts. Since he had no cultivation method, he stole it from other clans. He began with a mortal-ranked cultivation method, slowly working his way to a spirit-ranked cultivation method, then a profound-ranked cultivation method. The exploits of Elder Li are found in every history book. Oh, so, Elder Yen means Elder Li is a thief? Zhuofan interrupted as he scratched his nose. Panicked, vicious Pill King gesticulated wildly in his stammering, I never said such a thing. Mind your words. Li Jingtian bellowed and slapped him. Looking somewhat awkwardly at Zhuofan, he was hoping vicious Pill King would make a proper account of his heroic deeds, racking up his value. But this old coot went and spilled the whole beans about his inglorious past. All robbing would do was drop his price. Instead, Li Jingtian glared at Yen Song, then coughed. Ha ha ha, that is an old story, a part unworthy of attention. How can it be? Without a cultivation method, your only choice was to steal if you didn't want to stay weak all your life. I truly admire your courage. Zhuofan smiled. Li Jingtian's eyes shined and his heart jumped in joy since Zhuofan didn't despise him. He laughed even harder. Your reputation doesn't do you justice, Demon Archon Zhuofan. You aren't like those so-called experts, but a man of true talent. Correct. In my younger days, I had to go steal renowned skills and cultivation methods from clans to become what I am now. And the more I stole, the more enemies I gained. But I showed no fear. After cultivating, I became stronger than any of them and killed any who chased me down. I always fought them with the same skills I stole, promising to hand my head over if I ever lost. Zhuofan looked at him deeply. Isn't that the same as what I've been through in the 100-pill meeting? Zhuofan's opinion of him grew somewhat. He was a renowned man to steal others' belongings and achieve greatness, just like Zhuofan. None of them were saints, just looking at things from a different angle. Then, people started calling Elder Li as the Mad Dipper. It means to say how arrogant I am, yet so powerful none of them could do anything to me. Vicious Pill King put his 2 cents in. Li Jingtian nodded. So I robbed and cultivated my way to the profound heaven stage, unmatched by all. But at that point, I have reached a choke point. Yeah. Spirit-ranked cultivation methods are too slow in the profound heaven stage and had to be exchanged. And the only ones with such cultivation methods are the Imperial family and 7 houses, or the 4 pillars. Is this how you leaned on Regent estate? Zhuofan said. Li Jingtian shook his head. Holding his head up high, vicious Pill King butted in. Steward Zhuo, you may not know, but Elder Li didn't lean on Regent estate, but fought his way in. Elder Li heard of Regent estate's Imperial Tyrant body art being the best of all the houses, and wanted to take it. 5 elders had to work together, but even they, with their Imperial Tyrant body art, couldn't defeat Elder Li's spirit-ranked body cultivation method. Even Regent Estate's Grand Elder Huangpu Fenglei had to intervene. Thus, he invited him into his house as a guest elder, now venerable. This was one of the rare events in the history of Regent Estate. Vicious Pill King turned his admiration-filled eyes to Li Jingtian. Li Jingtian's head rose even higher, as if that was possible, as he stroked his ego in just the right spots as if to say, "Look, I didn't go there begging. It was Regent Estate who invited me." But Zhuofan saw through everything and snorted inside this so-called invitation was after he became a sensation. Regent Estate is fraught with danger. No matter how tough you are, a profound heaven expert would soon be lying dead somewhere before he could make any kind of scene. It's obvious he used his own strength to recommend how fitting he was for Regent Estate. If I went in, my conceived version of Imperial Tyrant body art would have grown far stronger than theirs, thus boosting the power of Regent Estate. Nonetheless, a body cultivator who has always been engrossed in his training yet still had the time to develop such cunningness is a rarity. It had to be all that chasing's fault. Li Jingtian looked more pleasing in Zhuofan's eyes. This radiant stage guy has brawn and brain. He is a good specimen. Scratching his nose, Zhuofan smiled. In other words, Elderly is a martial fanatic, doing anything and everything in your pursuit of power. You only have one life. If you don't fight your way to rise above the masses, it's not worth living for. Li Jingtian looked at the skies and sighed. Zhuofan spoke. Now, I know what Elderly wants. Hold on, I don't want you to see me as. I have my own cultivation method. Zhuofan cut him off. What I am unclear, however, is why Elderly, a Regent Estate's guest venerable, and knowing the Imperial Tyrant body art, would come after my cultivation method. Kid, I am not actually. Do be frank with me. Shooting him a glance, Zhuofan was completely defiant. If Elderly isn't honest, you will never get what you want from me. Since I don't know what you really want. Stammering, Li Jingtian looked squarely at Zhuofan with admiration. He is no common kid. Few are those who can meet the gaze of a radiant stage expert. No wonder Ling wanted me to personally deal with him. Li Jingtian sighed and nodded. Indeed. I came today for a cultivation method. Humph, I am Regent Estate's guest venerable, yet, they only imparted the Imperial Tyrant body art up to the 7th stage, omitting the last 2. Yet, those weaker than me get to practice it without worry. Ridiculous. If I had trained to the 9th stage, I'd be invincible. Not even the Imperial family's divine dragons can compare. Just why have they not given me the last stages? Li Jingtian let go of all his rancor, to which the two looked at each other and shook their heads in mockery. This guy really was a martial fanatic, godlike even. Could Regent Estate rein him in if he became invincible? Humph, he had always been an outsider. I wouldn't impart it either if I couldn't control you. Zhuofan said so, yet the outline of a plan was forming in his mind. This man could be taken into the fold. Though, he needed to fine-tune his rash behavior and get him to fall in line. Chapter 182 Duping a Radiant Stage Expert. Chapter 182 Duping a Radiant Stage Expert. Kid, I have been completely open with you. Now, it's your turn to tell me that body cultivation method of yours. He wanted to still pose as a senior, but Zhuofan's bluntness was hard to cope with. He thus reverted to his mad dipper, robber self. Scratching his nose, Zhuofan was just as calm as he smiled. Elderly, how do you know my cultivation method is better than Imperial Tyrant body art? Humph, anyone can tell after the stunt you pulled in Drifting Flowers City. Li Jingtian huffed. Huangpu Qinyun just entered the 7th stage of Imperial Tyrant body art, yet could only take 1 bursting pill. And then there's you, taking 5 of them and killing him outright. Even a blind could see whose is better. Zhuofan and Vicious Pill King shared a look and nodded. Not everyone was stupid, able to tell which was which, yet Zhuofan still chose to shake his head. Elderly, you are a renowned senior, most clear on the power the Imperial Tyrant body art holds. Think it through, just how many cultivation methods are there that can surpass it? Li Jingtian was at a loss. Elderly, as you know the full recount of what happened in Drifting Flowers Edifice, then you must also know what my other title is. Eminent Alchemist Zhuofan? Li Jingtian was stunned. You mean? Zhuofan nodded with a crafty smile. I managed to display such power with my body because of my cultivation method, yes, but also thanks to the pills personally refined. Just 1 was enough to boost my power 5 times. What is that possible? Body cultivators were stronger than average because of their tough bodies, and the only way to obtain it was through arduous training, no exceptions. But if there was a pill that could do the same thing, where'd the body cultivator's advantage go? Does the world have such a miraculous pill? Li Jingtian was skeptical, but Zhuofan's logic held some truth. How else could Zhuofan with his bone-tempering stage cultivation stand up to Huangpu Qingyun? Li Jingtian was clearly hesitating, but then he said coldly, "Kid, give me the pills or I'll waste you." "Can't, I ate them all. How else could I have finished off Huangpu Qingyun?" "Then you better make some. Aren't you an alchemist?" "Out of ingredients." "Then, I will stay with you until you get them." Li Jingtian was shouting now, raising an eyebrow. Zhuofan caught Vicious Pill King showing off a peculiar smile. One that Li Jingtian clearly spotted. "In that case, I need the blood of a red-tail ice fox, a third-level beast. Let's go to All Beast Mountain Range." Zhuofan proposed. Li Jingtian waved him off with a smile. "Hold on. Why should we go that far? There's plenty of third-level spiritual beasts in a nearby forest. They aren't as many in All Beast Mountain Range, but should be enough for refining." Frowning, Zhuofan had no choice but to sigh and nod. "Very well. Let's go." Turning around, he gave Vicious Pill King a look. Vicious Pill King didn't seem to have caught it, but Li Jingtian was on guard to pick up this particular strange behavior. He pulled Zhuo around by the shoulder and squinted. "Kid, a third-level spiritual beast doesn't need all three of us. Let Yen Song get it while we wait." "Ha ha ha, I am an alchemist and pay close attention to the details when picking any ingredient. How could I let Elder Yen go?" Zhuofan wiped his brow of sweat. Li Jingtian snorted inside. He didn't know what Zhuofan's game was, but rumors about his cunning and treachery floated everywhere. It's best to be on the safe side. How many's blood ended up in this kid's hands just because they looked down on him? Li Jingtian was a veteran and saw through everything. He laughed. "Ha ha ha, kid, cut the act. I said he will go alone and that's final. He is also an alchemist and knows what spiritual beast to pick." Gnashing his teeth, Zhuofan furrowed his brows, but sighed in the end and took out a gourd from his ring. "Elder Yen, here are the favorite worms of the red-tail ice fox. Bait it with this and catch it quickly." Yen Song's eyes lit up, catching his meaning, and nodded. "Wait." Li Jingtian felt something was off. "What is this? Let me see." Yen Song hesitated, but Zhuofan nodded. Li Jingtian took the ice-cold gourd and opened it. A blood-colored worm wiggled its way out. Li Jingtian looked at it with a critical eye but found nothing unusual. He gave it back to Vicious Pill King. "This fox eats worms." "Ha ha ha, who else but us alchemists know the habits of every spiritual beast?" Zhuofan laughed when Li Jingtian found Vicious Pill King had gone 10 meters away. He shouted, "Yen Song, you have one day to bring a third-level spiritual beast. Be late and we won't wait for you." Yen Song staggered in his flight, looking back at Zhuofan and nodded. Zhuofan sneered inside. Li Jingtian was quite cautious, leaving no stone unturned. Even though he let Yen Song go, he gave him a deadline now. It wouldn't matter even if he got help, since these two would be long gone. Humph. Getting hounded in his younger days worked wonders for his prudence, it seems. But despite all this caution, it only sends him deeper into my trap. Zhuofan grinned. Around 12 hours later, Vicious Pill King carried a snow-white fox's body. Its tail was a vibrant red. Vicious Pill King placed the body down and returned the gourd to Zhuofan with a slight nod. Zhuofan smiled. "Now we can refine." "Wait!" Li Jingtian again butted in, his eyes flashing eerily. A flick of his finger cut the fox in two. Li Jingtian stooped and squeezed the parts until a red worm came out. "Now you can begin." Li Jingtian squashed the worm to a paste. Vicious Pill King was startled yet found Zhuofan calm as a well. "So now I will refine a body pill for Elder Yen to prove my words." Zhuofan took a deep breath and used his Yuan Qi flame, but Li Jingtian barked, "Wait. I want 10. The more you have, the better. But you can only take it once in your life. Taking any more would be useless." Zhuofan furrowed his brows, laughing. Li Jingtian's eyes were sharp. "If I say you make 10, then that's what you'll do. Unless you two don't want your heads on your shoulders." For lack of a better option, Zhuofan started refining. When the pills were just about done, he added the icefox's blood with a hum. 10 pills radiating cool air and colored red flew into Zhuofan's palm. Li Jingtian cried in shock. Why are they so cold? Yet came out of a yuan qi fire. Elder Li may not know that this third-grade pill, freezing body pill, is a clan secret. Refined with a yin-yang flame, it is hot inside and cold on the surface. Once ingested, hot and cold will travel through the body hundreds of times, tempering it. Zhuofan explained. Li Jingtian reached over. Give me one. Zhuofan nodded, acquiescing his demand. Wait. Li Jingtian had a sly smile. Give me the other 9. Zhuofan frowned but complied. Li Jingtian then pointed at the one Zhuofan was holding and said with a cold smile, Kid, eat it. I told you, this pill only works once. Zhuofan frowned. Laughing, Li Jingtian's eyes bore into him. I know, of course. But it won't matter if you take one more. If you don't eat it, that this pill must have a defect and I will kill you. Zhuofan ate it in the end. Seeing him fine, Li Jingtian's eyes roamed around in thought. Kid, pick one from these 9. Zhuofan sighed and took one. Give it to me. Li Jingtian said. Zhuofan complied, yet Li Jingtian shouted again, just before he ate it, hold on. You eat it, Yen Song. Me. Yen Song stammered but was forced to eat it either way. In this way, Li Jingtian made Zhuofan pick again and again, until only 3 were left. He picked one himself, then checked the 2's faces before eating it. Li Jingtian felt a chill seep into him, then a warmth. It was so gentle and cozy. Zhuofan raised an eyebrow then snickered. This guy is paranoid, but he took the bait anyway, he. Chapter 183, Another One Comes Aboard. Chapter 183, Another One Comes Aboard. Li Jingtian entered meditation and focused on refining the pill. Zhuofan and Vicious Pill King were actually just standing there looking at him. 6 hours later, Li Jingtian stood up. Zhuofan smiled. How is it, elderly? Happy? Yes, my body feels so free. Li Jingtian let a carefree laugh, but then was cut short as he frowned. However, why is it that my body hasn't grown in power? Grinning, Zhuofan said, That's normal since it was not a body pill by any means. It'd be odd if you did get stronger. What? You lied? Li Jingtian's rage exploded. Vicious Pill King hunkered for cover behind Zhua, but the latter was still carefree. Oh my elderly, you are a veteran and a man with widened horizons. How come you bought into this fairy tale about body pills? Don't you know cultivators walk in defiance to heavens? The greater the price, the bigger the reward. Relying on pills will only ruin you in the long run. You played me for a fool? Li Jingtian's eyes were red now. Vicious Pill King shivered as he shook Zhuofan's arm. He tried to make him stop aggravating this old monster. Zhuofan, however, flicked his hand free and laughed. And what are you gonna do about it? You think I'm as dumb as those morons you robbed, thinking you can just take my cultivation method? Fat chance. Why, you little. Li Jingtian was panting in rage, pointing at Zhuofan all the while. The great Mad Dipper Li Jingtian was somebody, even in his early days, that the 7 houses would show some respect. But then, he met this young pup who started cursing him. The shame was unbearable. No matter if he got the cultivation method or not, Zhuofan had to die. Li Jingtian bellowed, and slapped the 2. The wave of power coming from him almost blew the 2 away. Kid, your life ends here. Vicious Pill King shivered behind Zhuofan in fear. Steward Zhua, you tricked him, but your bloodworm's plan fell through, so why are you making it worse? You look so wise with your poise and calmness, but how come? Why are you hot-headed today? Vicious Pill King cried as he wailed inside. Who could have seen this coming? He just got a new lease on life only to die again a month later. Is this the end of my poor life? In the middle of his lamentation and prayers, Zhuofan snorted and made a sign. A shriek of pain shuddered the heavens itself. A bloody mark appeared on Li Jingtian's forehead that forced his palm to a stop but a hair's breadth away from Zhuofan. He then proceeded to hold his head as he collapsed in agony. Blood flowed from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, dyeing the ground red. His eyes bulged out and were ready to pop. The whale had Vicious Pill King looking stumped. Looking back at Juefan, he noticed the trademark wicked grin on his face. Steward Jua, did it work? Vicious Pill King blinked. Juefan nodded. But of course. This coot is under my complete control. Elder Yen, you did well today. I will remember this. Great, ha ha ha. Vicious Pill King's spirits were uplifted. He looked to Li Jingtian with a proud gaze. He, you finally got yours. Who told you to play around? Don't you know any ploy before Juefan is paid back many folds? Vicious Pill King felt it on his own skin. But seeing the Mad Dipper of Tianyu's act crushed and shamed, made him chipper. His admiration for Juefan grew as well, of course. He even managed to bring a Radiant Stage cultivator to his knees. This boy is too much. What's happening to me? Li Jingtian held his head as he rolled on the ground. What the hell did you do to me? Juefan and Vicious Pill King snickered in sync. Taking the remaining 2 pills, Juefan said, Elderly, I'm sure you know by now. I mean, didn't a veteran cultivator like you ever heard the saying, don't take candy from a stranger? The pill. Li Jingtian's eyes widened. Impossible. Even if a 3rd-grade pill had poison, my Yuan Qi is more than enough to remove it. And didn't you take it too? Juefan snickered. We did indeed. Terribly sorry, however, this pill is completely safe. It has no poison, though it does refresh one's body. What is wreaking havoc in your body is this little buddy. Juefan presented the gourd and a bloodworm came out. Li Jingtian had known something was off about it, but never thought it could be so deadly and make him stand on the edge of a precipice. This is my demonic creature, bloodworm. It takes control of your blood. I am linked with it, and a thought from me is enough to plunge you into a world of pain. It works just the same even on a Radiant Stage expert like you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Li Jingtian was shocked and roamed his eyes around, all while he expressed his doubt. That can't be. I scanned every ingredient you used, even the dead fox, and there was nothing wrong with any of them. The bloodworm was killed by me at the start. You're saying the worm didn't die when being refined? Vicious Pill King was also curious about this. This was the reason for his disappointment earlier. He just didn't know how Juefan pulled off getting this old guy to swallow a bloodworm. Ha ha ha, I know this as well. Why else would I propose the red-tailed ice fox? Chuckling, Juefan's eyes shined with wisdom. My bloodworm lives in frigid pools, and the ice fox's main property is its icy blood. So, I had Elder Yen feed it a bloodworm, but not to include it in the pill later. It was all so it would lay its eggs. You might have killed the bloodworm, but the icy blood was filled with eggs. Now I get it. Under a Radiant Stage expert's scrutiny, they'll notice any hint of life in seconds. But an egg isn't alive until it hatches. This made Li Jingtian's search useless. Vicious Pill King exclaimed while also giving Juefan a good round of ass-kissing. Steward Jua is a sage to cover all aspects. Not even the veteran Li Jingtian could match your perfect schemes. I am in awe. That's not right. How did you make the bloodworm grow so fast from a mere egg? Li Jingtian was still in denial. With a light smile, Juefan supplied the explanation on a casual note. You have the potency of the pill to thank for that. As I've said, I used both yin and yang fires in the refining. If I did not do so, the yang fire would have ruined the egg in the blood. The rest is as you already understand. Or more aptly put, felt on your own skin. The pill freely switches from yin to yang. Sometimes the warmth of spring, and sometimes the chill of a winter blizzard. It imitates the 4 seasons. Though it may have been 6 hours, but to the bloodworm, it was equivalent to decades. Not to mention, this pill speeds up your pulse, all to help the little bloodworm grow. The pill was no body pill, but one that facilitates the flow of blood, the spring pill. The explanation floored Li Jingtian completely. Never had he thought this day would come. He moved unchecked across the empire only to fall in the hands of a twerp. He could only laugh at himself for being greedy. It was this that brought him to his knees, but Zhuofan saw through him once again. Ha ha ha, you must be thinking greed got you into this mess, no? Wrong. Humans are inherently greedy. Take away your desire, and would you still be human? Desire is fine, but you must never ever try to take any shortcut. There's no such thing as a miracle pill to make you strong. And even if there is, the price you'd have to pay for it would be so much greater. Zhuofan then placed a jade slip at his feet, stopping the bloodworm's torment as he continued preaching. Like I said, I have my own cultivation method. It is called Wraith Art, a mid-profound ranked demonic method of astonishing power. Train it to completion and it won't lack one bit to a top one. It is without a doubt stronger than even the Imperial Tyrant body art. At the same time, I will also give you 3 matching profound ranked martial arts. If you are willing to bend a knee and join me and the Luo clan, pick it up and become its elder. Or, you can just leave, return to Regent Estate as a guest venerable. I won't stop you. Looking Zhuofan straight in the eye, Li Jingtian could pick up on his sincerity. He slowly reached for the jade slip as he muttered, I first want to see if it is real and not, and if it is incomplete like what Regent Estate had passed to me. Zhuofan smiled and nodded when Li Jingtian caught a glimpse of it. His eyes widened. Bloody hell. There's a sound profound ranked martial art in here. This doesn't exist anywhere in the Empire. What kind of a behemoth is this Luo clan to have such a treasure? Your decision? Zhuofan smiled. I'm in. Who the hell wouldn't at this point? Li Jingtian put the jade slip in his ring and laughed. Kid, I'd come over to your side much earlier if you had just shown me this cultivation method. What need was there for all that cloak and dagger spiel? Hee hee. You don't say. Knowing what he was thinking once again, Zhuofan smiled coldly. Wouldn't you have killed me instead, to silence me and take my head for a reward? Li Jingtian scratched his head awkwardly from having his heart laid bare. Zhuofan is just as the rumors say. Nothing escapes him. No wonder he can act so calmly after killing 6 expert. With such a talent, the clan must be of even more epic proportions. I didn't lose out following him. Li Jingtian laughed inside. He may have been forced to switch camps, but you could say he traded up. As such, another poor and disillusioned expert climbed aboard Zhuofan, didn't mind at all. Isn't it a good thing if they trust the Luo clan? Although they may perhaps experience a somewhat mild letdown when they see it. Zhuofan felt somewhat bashful at that last thought. Chapter 184 7 Houses Gathering. Chapter 184 7 Houses Gathering. The caged dragon city leaned onto the endless miles-long bulwark range. 4 towering peaks, jutting cliff edges, and cloud-wreathed hunks of rocks had the city surrounded. Seen from above, the 4 looked like spikes nailing down a proud dragon, dooming it for all eternity, and this city here was where the head of the 7 houses, the Regent Estate, laid its roots. An old man in his 50, with sunken cheeks and pale as paper, was now standing before the looming city gate. His hair was in a bun, just like a scholar's, evoking a refined and courteous air. But the bloodthirst in his eyes ruined this image. 2 profound heaven experts flanked him, yet their attitude was quite deferred toward the old man, with a hint of fear mixed within. Whoosh! Suddenly, 3 lights flashed before them. They were none other than Veiled Dragon Pavilion's Pavilion Lord, Long Yifi, 3rd Elder, and Long Ju. You honor me, Pavilion Lord Long, with your arrival. Do forgive me for coming so late to welcome you. The scholar half bowed to Long Yifi, yet there was no trace of courteousness on his face. Long Yifi returned the greeting with haste and respect. It is of no importance. How could I possibly demand Sir Ling come in person? You have given me a world of respect just by waiting for me. Ha ha ha, Pavilion Lord Long is courteous. It is only proper I do so, as the steward of Regent estate. Sir Ling cupped his hands and his lips curled into a wide smile. Long Yifi nodded but felt his heart in a vice around a man they called Unwanted Contriver Ling Wuchang. One had to be mindful of his every little gesture at all times, lest they reveal something they wouldn't want to about themselves, lest they would unwittingly allow him to pry into Veiled Dragon Pavilion's secrets. Even the other 6 house lords treated meeting Sir Ling with more gravity than seeing the Emperor whoosh. 3 more figures arrived just then. Looking over, they were Hell Valley's Valley Lord, Yuanshan, along with his Grand Elder and one-armed 5th Elder. Perhaps the rage and humiliation still held him in their grip, for his features were tightened and morose after exchanging greetings with Ling Wuchang, and some short pleasantries. Ling Wuchang flicked his cold eyes on Long Yifi. Humph, Pavilion Lord Long, enemies always seem to bump into each other. This is the 2nd time we meet since our audience with the Emperor. Ha ha ha, quite so. Life is fickle like that. It seems, however, after we parted from the Imperial capital, Veiled Dragon Pavilion stayed the same, yet, I find it that not to be the case for Hell Valley. Long Yifi chuckled, the sarcasm clear in his eyes as well. This open jab at Hell Valley was an obvious mockery to them, losing 2 great generals. First the demise of Yugiki, and second, the crippling of 5th Elder, Diamondback Ape. Hell Valley's losses were tremendous, falling dreadfully short in power compared to Veiled Dragon Pavilion. Yuanshan's face contorted in rage and stomped forward, his power threatening to break out as he spat. Long Yifi, come and see for yourself if Hell Valley is still the same or not. Humph, you think the likes of you scare me. Snorting, Long Yifi's eyes were sharp, letting his power ooze out. The 2 peak Profound Heaven experts' auras clashed, putting pressure on the 2 Profound Heaven experts belonging to Regent Estate into retreating. Even though Regent Estate was crowned as the strongest house, Long Yifi and Yuanshan were not to be taken lightly. Either few present could push back these 2 elders. Even in the Regent Estate the 2 sides bared their fangs, needing one last push to blow everything up in smoke. Ling Wuchang coughed. Gentlemen, please, this is Regent Estate. Those simple words were as if spoken by a god, as it shook the hearts of the 2, and their aura vanishing they proceeded to instantly bow in apology. Please show leniency, Sir Ling. It's fine. Just remember that we are in Regent Estate and you are our guests. You will make it difficult for me if you start fighting here. Please take it elsewhere if you want to sort your differences. That's all I'm asking. Ling Wuchang's face was as blank as ever, but the words were chilling to the bone. His eyes even contained a hint of reprimand when looking at them. Despite the anger welling in the 2, they could only let it simmer. He had the monster that was Regent Estate behind him, someone none of the 6 houses wanted to make an enemy of. Ha ha ha, this place sure is lively. Valley Lord Yu, Pavilion Lord Long, it's been ages. A laughter broke out, followed by 3 towering figures in green. Their leader was a wizened old man with silver-haired, while the other 2 were his elders. One was red-haired and the other violet, yet each one of them had an eerie hint of green in their eyes. Hall Lord Yen Bagong? Squinting, Yuanshan mocked them. You seem to be quite springy, for someone who had his best alchemists slaughtered in cold blood. Ha ha ha, Valley Lord Yu, there's no need to provoke me. Yen Bagong smiled. Pill King Hall is different from you. You always go on a murder spree every day, with every one of your elders a mighty general. My condolences for the loss, by the way. While we at the Pill King Hall pursue alchemy above all else. Only the best alchemist is worthy of the vicious Pill King title. Even if we were robbed of our precious alchemist, we still have many more that can fit the role as well. Just as we have many 7th-grade alchemists like Yen Song. Since they have always been in his shadow for so long, they must be letting it all out in laughter now. In short, we do not lack alchemists. Our next vicious Pill King will achieve just as his predecessor had, taking the title of the best alchemist in Tianyu. Yen Bagong stood proud before the two, while Yuanshan cursed silently. A cold and cruel hell is a more fitting place for you. Long Yifi snorted. Hall Lord Yen seems to be quite confident. I heard that in the 100-pill meeting held by Drifting Flowers Edifice, before Vicious Pill King's untimely demise, he fell utterly short to the more skilled Zhuofan. Do tell, how is the best alchemist in Tianyu one of yours now, I certainly don't see it. For the first time since he came, Yen Bagong's face took a darker tone, his eyes flashing with bloodthirst. Humph, and if Zhuofan dies? The dead can't compete with Pill King Hall in taking the best alchemist title. What? Zhuofan? Where is that devil? A sudden bark rang everyone's ears. It followed with the arrival of 3 figures in blue. A middle-aged man with delicate features walked to Leng Wuchang. Sir Leng, hasn't Zhuofan been dealt with yet? Leng Wuchang frowned. Mary Woods was the dumbest ally no one would ever want. Could you speak any louder? I don't think everyone heard you clearly. Too little too late. Long Yifi could already guess as his eyes glanced at the two. Leng Wuchang coughed. House Lord Lin, please mind yourself. We are all here to strategize on how to rid the world of that devil. Oh, Lin Rufeng, why do I get the feeling you already began to act? Lin Rufeng's eyes searched for a clue, a tick, anything. Lin Rufeng nodded without a care. Damn right. That punk killed our 6th elder. How can we not retaliate? This time, we sent 2 profound heaven experts. House Lord Lin, Zhuofan is most cunning. It is not appropriate for Mary Woods to act alone. Let us all work together on this after the 7 houses gathering. Leng Wuchang intervened before Lin Rufeng's loose tongue could do even more damage. Lin Rufeng was startled. What do you mean alone? Weren't you in it as well? But Leng Wuchang's deadly glare shut him up before he could open his beak. However, Long Yifi could already guess what happened. Regent Estate has been on the move even before the 7 houses gathering, and they excluded Veiled Dragon Pavilion, it seems. It was a clear indication that Regent Estate crossed Veiled Dragon Pavilion from their ally list. This spells trouble. If the Regent Estate goal is to rule all 7 houses, they are sure to make an example out of Veiled Dragon Pavilion by eliminating us. Long Yifi secretly sighed. I can only pray for Zhuofan's safety, that he will assist us once he rises to power. You must stay alive at all costs. Ha ha ha, it's been a long time since it's been so bustling here. It must have been what, a century since our last gathering? A sudden chuckle followed, a scholarly middle-aged man with a long beard joining them with 2 elders behind. And one of them was Sword Marquis Abode's 8th elder, Jian Suifeng, and Long Zhou's eyes met, and they nodded at each other. In Drifting Flower City, Zhuofan pulled the strings in getting Sword Marquis Abode and Veiled Dragon Pavilion secretly more acquainted. Long Yifi's eyes shined at the newcomer, finally meeting an ally, and laughed. Ha ha ha, Abode Lord Sky Breaking Xiaofeng, we meet at last. Pavilion Lord Soaring Dragon. Long Yifi, I've been looking forward to seeing you as well. Xiaofeng cupped his hands, laughing together for a reason only they knew. These 2 were house lords, yet they have never once met before, but since they were allies now, they saw each other in a better light. Leng Wuchang's brows trembled. The 7 houses are almost all here. But in light of Drifting Flowers Edifice's unfortunate disaster that demon caused, I believe they have their hands tied and can't join us. Let us. Who said Drifting Flowers Edifice's hands are tied? A clear and powerful voice cut Leng Wuchang's speech short. Then a bang echoed as a golden staff with a dragon head smashed the ground. The sight of her caused the others to widen their eyes. Even Leng Wuchang, the old hag, still lives. Chapter 185 Demon Purging Decree. Chapter 185 Demon Purging Decree. A curvaceous woman in her 40s, free from the scars of time, walked with dignity and lofty air at every step, the dragon-head golden staff smashed the pavement. Oddly enough, it was at that instant the other people's hearts jumped as well. She was the legend that had kept Drifting Flowers' edifice afloat a century ago with her own 2 hands, the one they called grandmother, Chu Bijuan. Long Yifei and Xie Xiaofeng had heard of her recovery from Long Jiu and Jian Suifeng, but seeing her in person was a whole other matter entirely. Each of them watched dumbstruck as if they saw a ghost. One could hardly blame them. Behind grandmother were Iris Overseer and Peony Overseer. They stood proud and head held high, finally able to blow off their long pentade steam. Impossible. You should be dead. Hall Lord Yen stammered, snorting. Chu Bijuan flicked him a look and spat. Yen Bagong, you'd wish it so. But to your disappointment, I am still alive and well. I may soon even enter the radiant stage. Humph, your deep consideration for Drifting Flowers' edifice over the years have been noted. I will make sure to repay each and every transgression. Shivering inside, Yen Bagong sank into a depression. Chu Bijuan's title of Lady of Steel was for her staunch determination in following through on her promise. The future of Pil King Hall looked quite bleak. Congratulations on your recovery, Edifice Lord Chu, and resuming your lead. Leng Wuchang gradually cooled, and cupped his hands to Chu Bijuan. She returned the gestures with a light bow. Please, Sir Ling, you're too kind. The Edifice Lord has always been Qinqing. But she had to enter seclusion while this gathering is taking place. So I took it upon myself to assist her by coming here in her stead. Edifice Lord Chu is modest. Everyone knows you are the first overseer. However, you are no different than an edifice lord, thus your title. With you leading, Drifting Flowers' edifice will bound to rise. Smiling, Ling Wuchang continued, you have my utmost admiration for advising 3 generations of edifice lords and for your open-minded nature. Chu Bijuan nodded in her show of respect. Ling Wuchang smiled. Would it be too much to ask that in this 7 houses gathering, Edifice Lord Chu put aside our differences? Ha ha ha, of course, Sir Ling. Only, I'm not so sure everyone else would be as quick to agree as me. Chu Bijuan sneaked a glance at Yen Bagong. Yen Bagong gnashed his teeth. Since Sir Ling asked, I shall accommodate your request while in Regent Estate. Ha ha ha, wonderful! Laughing, Ling Wuchang's eyes roamed over the crowd and gestured with a flourish. Guests, please follow me. Estate Lord is waiting. He took the lead, the rest followed after him, while Yen Bagong snorted at Chu Bijuan. Chu Bijuan only smiled coldly, leaving with her overseers when passing by Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquis abode. They exchanged glances and the 3 broke out in smiles. This was done in such a casual manner that no one noticed. These 3 houses were in fact allies. The 6 houses' delegates entered in a lofty and grand hall. The arrangements were full of taste and refinement, yet there were only 7 seats. It was obviously reserved for the house lords, while their detail made to stand. This earned no little dissent among the elder. They were revered in their own houses, and even their house lord showed them proper respect. While here, they seemed to be treated like air. Turning a blind eye, Ling Wuchang gestured, please take your seats while I ask Estate Lord to join you. And he left. Yen Bagong, Yuanshan and Lin Ruffling looked at each other before taking their seat. Chu Bijuan squinted and took a seat as well. The elders were, however, made to stand at their side. Long Yifei and Xie Xiaofeng exchanged a glance, then looked at their elders, undecided to the best course of action. A house leader should fight for the respect of his elders. The best way was to ask Regent Estate for more seat. The elders were the pillars of the house, not mere servants to watch their house lord eat while standing aside. But the seating was so strange that left the 2 at a loss. While they were debating inside, a stout man in golden ceremonial robes dazzled in with Ling Wuchang behind him. He was the estate lord, Huangpu Tianyuan. The people stood and offered their respects. Huangpu Tianyuan returned their gesture and sat in the seat of honor. Only then did the others sit as well. Ling Wuchang chose to stand behind Huangpu Tianyuan. Without a hint of complaint, Huangpu Tianyuan took everyone's presence into account, and, even though Ling Wuchang warned him, he was shocked to see Chu Bijuan here just the same. Edifice Lord Chu, I am relieved to see you in good health. Chu Bijuan nodded. I am most grateful for Estate Lord's kind thoughts. Drifting Flowers Edifice and Regent Estate have always been close. Chu Bijuan recovery is a happy event for us, Regent Estate. Huangpu Tianyuan smiled and patted her snow-white hand. Chu Bijuan withdrew in flustered and with reddened cheeks. Goddamn hypocrite! Iris Overseer and Peony Overseer cursed him secretly. If not for grandmother's early warning, they'd be blowing a gasket right about now. Huangpu Tianyuan turned to Long Yifei and Xie Xiaofeng, asking in faux interest, Pavilion Lord Long, Abode Lord Xie, why are you standing? Do you find your seats lacking? I will change them for you. No. Long Yifei denied, his eyes darting around while replying oddly, Sir Ling is one of the 3 sages in Tianyu. How could I let him stand? I freely offer my own seat to him. Xie Xiaofeng understood his hidden meaning at an important and rare occasion as the 7 houses gathering. How could Regent Estate make such a casual blunder to forget some seats? It was obviously done on purpose. Mentioning it would instantly trigger the trap. As for what that was, no one knew yet. Ling Wuchang took a roundabout approach, hanging the issue over Ling Wuchang's head. Although unable to talk back for Regent Estate's accommodations, the least he could do was counter it ingeniously. Pavilion Lord Long still knows how to use the old noodle. Xie Xiaofeng joined in as well. AI, how could I let Pavilion Lord Long give his seat? It's best I give my own. Oh no, take mine. Please, I insist. The two kept going back and forth, hoping to make a mountain out of a molehill. Yet Huangpu Tianyuan was sitting there without the slightest disturbance. Ling Wuchang snorted secretly. He cupped his hands at the two. Thank you, House Lords, for your generous offers, but we have rules here. I cannot agree. These 7 seats are for House Lords only. A subject like me is unworthy of seating next to Lords. So that's why. Is this Regent's skill in dividing his subjects from the Lords? The two saw the same guess in each other's eye. Ling Wuchang was quite vague, but it hinted at Regent Estate's ambition. He tossed out the subjects and Lord excuse to test who was worthy of making ties with Huangpu Tianyuan and who was not. As for who was the Lord and the subjects among the 7 houses, it was painfully clear. For the sake of dealing with Zhuofan, they convened the 7 houses gathering, but it was in fact a cover to threaten the 6 houses into submission. There was no way Regent Estate would breach this subject out of their own initiative. So how could they deal with this? Long Yifei and Xie Xiaofeng gnashed their teeth, taking seats with anxious hearts. The elders stood behind them with heavy expressions. Regent Estate was planning on using Zhuofan as a scapegoat to unite the houses. Huangpu Tianyuan smiled once everyone was seated. The reason why I've asked you all here today is abundantly clear. As of late, Devil Zhuofan had repeatedly breached the 7 noble houses' honor. Beginning with Hell Valley's 7th elder, it slowly snowballed into the chaos that engulfed Drifting Flowers Edifice and robbing us of 4 elders with his devious ploys. The whole of Tianyu sees us as nothing but buffoons. If we let him continue on this path, the day may very well come when he will purge one house from its roots. Wasn't Drifting Flowers City the root of Drifting Flowers Edifice? Hall Lord couldn't help but point out his mockery. Chu Bijuan smiled coldly. Indeed, Drifting Flowers City has been reduced to shambles. However, that was at the price of taking out the best alchemist in Tianyu. Shouldn't this old bones destroy a few more? Chu Bijuan, mind your goddamn tone. Yen Bagong slapped the table. Chu Bijuan was quite calm as she stood. Humph, anyone here is more than clear who should mind his. Enough! Huangpu Tianyuan shouted. Fighting among us before our enemy is vanquished will only benefit him. Huangpu Tianyuan ended their quarrel and resumed. For that purpose I propose, in the name of the 7 houses, the demon purging decree, and put an end to his vile tendencies. A what? The others gasped. Even Chu Bijuan and Yen Bagong, they all had their guesses, but hearing it was still a shock. The last time the demon purging decree was issued was 3 centuries ago. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.